to show up. Alrighty. And okay. And let's start with roll call. So, Rebecca, if you would please.
Right. Let's see. Lauren,
I'm here.
Pat, look, Pat is here, right?
Yeah, I'm muted. I'm muted,
Yeah.
but I am
Right.
here.
Rebecca, I am here. Mike, let's see. Is Mike Van Roy here?
Doesn't
No,
he
he's,
commute?
well, he is not here. Okay, Joe,
I'm here.
Brandon,
I am here.
Francisco.
I'm here.
All right. June,
Present.
Mark,
Present.
Wesley,
I'm here.
Mimi,
I am here.
Dave,
Here.
Richard,
Here.
Paul,
I am here.
Nick, if I don't see Nick, I thought his AI was in here. And let's see, Star Child. You here? I don't see him on the attendees. And Mike, you're here, right?
I'm here.
I just saw you come in. Okay. There's, I guess everyone is here except for the two alternates, and the central area coordinator is vacant.
All right. Well, that makes it simple then. All right. Thank you very much, Rebecca. We'll move ahead to the adoption of the agenda. I see that Dave has something he would like to add to the agenda. Dave, there's a spot on the agenda called Older Lapsed Member Mailing Project Proposal, parentheses, Dave. Is that something that can slot in there, this motion that you just put in the chat? You're on mute, Dave. You're muted.
This is really a budget item that might be more appropriate after you hear the treasurer report.
Okay. All right. So Dave has a motion here to add what he put in the chat there, to discuss that after the treasurer's report. Uh, is there a second for that? Does that need a second?
There is a second, and I find it very important.
Okay. All right. So we have a second from Pat. Is there any objection to adding that, sticking that into the agenda tonight? All right. We'll go ahead and slot that in following the treasurer's report. Let's see here. As I make my notes here.
Didn't Mimi post something about having stuff she wanted to add? I forget what now, though.
There are money-related motions that will also follow the treasurer's report, so we'll just add this from Dave into that list. Alrighty, so then, is there any further modification to the agenda? Proposed modification to the agenda. All right, then we'll entertain a motion to approve the amended agenda.
I move.
Mimi moves that. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
We have a second from Dave. Any objection to approving the amended agenda? Fantastic. This meeting's already off to a great start. All right, let's jump in.
Can you post the link to the amended agenda just so we can grab it easily? I don't think I looked at it since it's amended.
I just dropped it into my little notes, that same link that has been the link to like add commentary and stuff. I just
Yeah, I
slotted it
know,
in
but I
there.
don't have it handy. If you put it in chat,
But
I
you
could just
don't
click on
have
it to
that
get to it.
handy. All right, let me see here.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So let's jump into the big minute. Let's whip around the room, each take a minute, talk about stuff we've been doing, what we've been up to. I'll go ahead and start. This has been a rough month. It's been a weird month, and I have my eye has been off the ball on a lot of things, but some interesting things still managed to happen. Things that I'm intrigued by and potentially pleased with. I was contacted by a coalition of people, including the Forward Party, who are all putting together some great plot to back Tom Steyer for governor. And they said, hey, we have this great plan for you, Libertarian Party. If you jump in with us and back Tom Steyer, he'll change everything. He'll back a plan to go from top 2 to top 4 with approval voting, and we'll do all this stuff. June forwarded this to me, and where they're waving her hands in the air and very, very concerned about this. So I had a little conversation with them, and my I have not given them a final no yet, but that will probably happen tomorrow. I just wanted to let you guys know that that got put in front of me. However, given especially in fact, given that we have our own candidate and the shenanigans that have surrounded us trying to back non-libertarian candidates based on promises and hope, that's something that I'm going to decline. Though I will admit, given the current state of the primary and Swalwell's disastrous withdrawal from the race, we'll see what happens to Steyer. I don't know. We'll see. So that happened.
Top four is not all that much better than top two anyway. So
Yeah, I mean it's a big disaster. Yeah, you know, but whatever. So anyway, so there was that, and I managed to get ordered some delegate buttons to go on badges for the national convention. So I have those ordered. Those will be there. I'll have those at national convention, much the same way we did the last one. There'll be a button that you can just pin onto your convention badge that will mark you as a delegate. So that's what I've been doing for the past month. And let's move and see. Pat, what have you been up to?
Oh
Give
my
us a
God,
minute.
I'm still crying over Tom Steyer. Please don't sell your soul to the devil. Promise me you won't do that.
There's nothing about Tom Steyer to like. There really isn't.
No,
But
no. $100 million in self-funded ads.
no.
No, actually, I brought up shout out to Dave Schrader. We're looking at the email results, and the neon list is especially pretty dirty. There's a lot of bad emails that are thwarting our delivery. I've got MailChimp. There's about 9,000 people on the list who are mildly interested, about 3,000 people who are more than mildly interested. We really need to clean up that email list, the database. Neon is not a bad program, but it's full of garbage. So that's what I've learned this week, and I'm kind of thinking about how to build our list because Dave pointed out that we are losing more people than we are gaining. And when I import from Neon into MailChimp, we've gained 2 new members a week for the last 3 weeks. So that's 6 people, and one of them I know. So yeah, our membership is not doing that well. So when I was chair back in the last millennia, we used to send out Dave Berglund's Libertarianism in One Lesson to any new members. So I'm thinking about starting a drip program on email that would like reward like 7 different emails about libertarianism and then add them to the email list because we have to be really careful because our list is so dirty. But that was just kind of something that came in today because Dave has inspired me because our list is so bad. And Neon really needs it's not a bad system, it's just a bad list. So that's where my thought is, but I'm still back to suing the Fish and Game Commission and the Fish and Wildlife Department. They are incredibly breaking the law, so I don't have as much time for libertarianism, but I will find it. And that's where I am. Be Libertarian goes out April 15th, a very special edition because it's income tax and the 16th Amendment, which we have about $100,000 tax bill that we had to pay this year. So fuck the IRS, fuck the government. Let's build a Libertarian Party.
There you go. Did you get that, NSA? There it is. There it is for all of you. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Pat. Rebecca. Rebecca, are you
Hello,
there?
yes, I've been extremely behind on my work and I'm starting to catch up. As you can see, I finally finished all the minutes. I mean, honestly, the convention minutes were the worst because of all the bylaws changes that had to be added. So I'm extremely thankful that it will probably, I'm not going to say it won't happen, but I said it probably might not happen the next convention. And yeah, I'm still really behind in my work. So if you need me to do something, you should send me an email so it's at the top of my inbox. Also, I'm gonna note that Star Child came in, so I will add him
Right on.
to
All
the
right.
attendees.
All right. Thank you. Mike.
Okay, it's been a busy month. I think Mimi and I had 3 training sessions that I can remember, and then of course we had side meetings in addition to that. But I'm gradually getting more and more proficient at this job. So Alameda County, we've had a busy month too. We've had a successful outreach event. We had about 50 people that we gave the world's smallest political quiz to. Most of the liberals in our area, they honestly could not understand what the economics questions were meaning. I mean, it's one thing to disagree, it's another thing to not even comprehend. So yeah, we got our work ahead of us. We had a great social event. We had 10 people there about a month ago. Last last Friday, we had a business meeting. We had a packed agenda. We got through it in an hour and a half, so that was cool. And that's what I've been doing.
Fantastic.
Oh, I have an update
Oh,
from Terry's wife. She's still in assisted care. She's supposed to be returning home soon.
ah, well, forward our best wishes to them,
I will.
please. Joe.
Well, I've been doing a little bit of various things. I was continuing membership statistics related things. We have some things going on in our county party, like finding a new treasurer and getting her on board. I've been filling out questionnaires for my congressional candidacy. And debating a bunch of things on the mailing list that you've probably all seen. What else? Oh, and I went to the Caller Lab convention. I spent 4 days at the Caller Lab convention in Reno. It doesn't have much to do with the LP. And I spent 4 days this past weekend at the California State Square Dance Convention in Santa Maria. If anybody's interested, I'm posting some videos. That's it.
I am actually intrigued to see video of you square dancing, Joe. Absolutely. Please post that link.
Okay.
All
I
right.
posted a couple on Facebook this afternoon.
Oh, okay. Brandon, talk to us about what's going on. Give us a minute.
So I've been running around quite a bit. Went to No Kings and then went to the California GOP convention. Peeked around, talked to some people. Um, been trying to get candidates up and going and trying to get them some spotlight. Um, and it's been kind of it. It's been a wild month, but and then trying to get an event scheduled in San Diego for all the candidates, including governor, Board of Equalization, and then Imperial County next month. Trying to get ahead of the primaries. So hopefully trying to give us, I don't know, some type of a poll lead or something. But that's kind of it.
All right. Thank you. Francisco. Is Francisco here?
Yeah, I'm here. Could you circle
Okay.
around to me? I'm connecting to my card.
All right. We'll come back. June.
Mostly, I've been catching up on everything I got behind on while I was sick for a good part of the first quarter, including just trying to keep up with everything that's going on in the electoral reform sphere, some of which I am concerned about. Hopefully, none of it that I worried about will emerge. I'm a little bit concerned that Cal RCV, which we are a coalition member of, has endorsed top five. And at the moment, as near as I can tell, that's an unconditional endorsement, meaning that the primary would be conducted by first past the post, not ranked choice, which means to me that it's not going to give any of the minor parties any serious chance of getting on the general election ballot. So I will be paying particular attention to that line of action. And as I said, the rest of it is just I'm so far behind on my medical appointments, it's scary. But hopefully I'll catch up with the next month or so. That's it.
Fair enough. Good luck. Absolutely. And it does seem weird that the ranked choice people would endorse something not ranked choice. Mark, what's going on? Give us a minute.
All right. So been working on the state fair project. Shout out to Mimi who put together a web page. I was trying to see what that was, but so I could share it. But maybe Mimi could share it. But she put on a nice web page for people to donate to the state fair project with a nice Ferris wheel in the background, which I thought was a nice touch. With that said, the application for the State Fair project has been submitted. Insurance information from what
From
our
our
longtime
insurance.
activist down in Southern California is
Yeah,
a
our insurance, from our
state
insurance. Yeah.
insurance agent. Anybody can help me out with her name?
We know what you
Jill
mean. It's
Pyatt.
okay. Yes.
Jill.
It's Jill
Yeah,
Pyatt.
thank you. So for those who don't know, we do have liability insurance, and any state party affiliate is also covered under that policy. So if you are required by like a county fair or well, Art and Wine Festival, if they want liability insurance, you don't have to pay it separately. It's already covered. You just have to contact Jill in her office, and they'll send you out a form saying you got $1 million worth of liability insurance. So that's cool. So that's all squared away. And let's see, I forget if I mentioned this last time, but I've submitted 3 ballot measure arguments against tax increases in San Mateo County, another 3 in Santa Clara County, and one of them in Shasta County, which is really kind of bizarre, but we've never heard back from them. So Shasta County Registrar of Voters seems to be a non-functioning organization up there. Very strange. They don't return my phone calls. And we submitted a ballot argument, and we still don't know whether there's who they've selected for the pro and the con argument up there. And we've been working on this for at least a couple of weeks. Strange. Government doesn't work.
Shasta County is a strange place. All right. Thank you very much, Mark. Wes.
I'm making a movie. No, I got picked up by Southwestern Law University. So yeah,
excellent.
That's what I'm doing.
Fantastic. All right. Mimi.
So I've just been working on lots and lots of stuff. I think you guys see what I do. So right now we have 3 candidates that have actually pulled papers and are getting their signatures. One of the candidates that I had found was not able to, well, they didn't get back to me. So I've found somebody else that's going to do it for Los Angeles County, which will bring us up to 4. And then the other county I had, unfortunately, the guy that I recruited was, it's a zip code in that county, but it's split. So it turned out he wasn't in that county. So I'm looking for somebody else there. I'm still trying to get them. It's still early in the process. So I'd really love to get all, well, I won't get all 8 because the one seat in Riverside County, I will not find somebody to run in, just a fact. But I'm still working on that. And I have been busy with like also national stuff. And I think, I think there's something else that I did that I was going to say, but I totally lost my train of consciousness. So therefore, I'm not going to say anything more because I want to keep it under a minute. So that's it.
Can we ask a question?
Quickly.
As someone who can't find my shoes, I understand how busy Mimi is, but it'd be very nice if we had a web page of our current candidates, including writing candidates.
Okay, so I can answer that very quickly. That is being worked on. I've been working with Maria. The news website is not up. That was part of my very late addition to the WITCOM, thing. But yeah, we're working on that. We're trying to get that up right now. The only thing we have right now is what Joe has, which, thank you, Joe, for putting up what you have, but it's not on our page. But yes, we are working.
And also it doesn't cover any local candidates.
Mimi, I don't know how you do what you do. Thank you.
I believe I've heard of one local candidate. Are there others? Do other people know of others?
If you do, email Joe. Absolutely, let him know so that he's got the list. Absolutely.
And
Yeah, the
Mimi,
only one I know of is San Diego.
clarification on what you said, Mimi. Do you have 3 people lined up already working on circulating their petition, or 4?
To be write-ins.
Right, for write-ins. You
I
have
have
to
3. I have 3. I thought I had 4. One of them has not gotten back to me. So honestly, he may have done it, but he hasn't gotten back to me. But I'm looking for somebody else just in case. That's the Los Angeles one. And
Okay.
the 5th that I thought I had messed up on was it was a split zip code. So I'm working to try to find somebody else.
So there are 3 so far that are actually circulating the petition.
They have pulled the papers. They've got the petitions. They are circulating them.
Okay.
All right. Dave, talk to us. Give us a minute.
Sure. So probably the highlight is on Sunday, 11,208 emails went out on behalf of Tom Woodard for governor to Gen Z Hispanic people. It's too early to see how that worked, but the second item is I started just for fun pulling information off of Neon about the performance of previous email efforts. That could be the Be Libertarian before I went to MailChimp, the Beacon convention outreach, a couple of things that Pat and I did for younger and older registered libertarians. And the results are pretty interesting. They aren't finalized, but I did give an early readout to Paul from the membership committee and copied Pat, who mentioned that was intriguing. So I'm still working on that. Maybe a next meeting readout would be in order.
But Dave, can I ask you, where did you pull that list?
It's off of Neon under a pull-down menu where you have to look for emails.
But because it's, Neon is kind of confusing, but what criteria did you use?
None at all. I just clicked on all email campaigns and all the information popped up.
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. Third item is list pulls. Brandon wanted information for San Diego County. I think before that I gave Imperial County information so it could do event planning. One very interesting piece of work, which is more for the national group that I run, but there's an angle for California, is I took a look at all of the donors for the Joe Jorgensen and the Chase Oliver campaign based on information from Steve Dosbach. And that also included 200,000 people that signed up to be supporters for Joe Jorgensen. And then I projected out of that the California people. So we have a pretty good list now of people that donated to one or the other campaign or signed up to be a volunteer. And that ought to be useful down the road in a variety of ways. The 5th item is an agenda item on reaching out to donors in California to beef up the candidate support committee. So I'll talk about the rest of what I did there.
All right. Thank you very much. Richard.
All right. I'm going to keep it under a minute. So I did street contacting with Venezuelan funny money and pocket constitutions in Vallejo and Martinez. Then we also had a meeting a couple of weeks ago. Myself and my secretary met up with the leadership for the local DSA chapter so that we could have a face-to-face and come to an understanding. There were some words shared online between our groups, and they needed to see our faces and know that we don't back down from our positions about tyranny, be it infringing on personal freedoms or fiscal liberty. So we ended up buying them dinner since they didn't pack a lunch, and we had a good time.
The socialists had somebody else buy their meal. I'm shocked.
Right?
that would occur. Yeah.
Well, the thing is they're not officially a chapter yet. We also found out that they aren't. They're taking lots of political donations from people. They're not filing anything properly for any FPPC guidelines. And currently they don't have a bank account. They're just pocketing all the money and distributing it, as the collective sees fit. So all the things you'd expect.
Man, you couldn't make that up. That's amazing. Thank you, Richard.
Good for them for not feeding the state.
I guess. Paul, tell us what's going on. Give us a minute.
Well, I'm continuing to work on phone calls for lapsed members, and then we had our first meeting of the membership committee, and I'll be discussing that under the agenda item of committee reports.
Alrighty. Nick's not here. Starchild, give us a minute, and then we'll circle back to Francisco.
Yeah, so I did two video appearances. One when I went to the Richmond City Council with Hunter, who was here briefly last month on this meeting. We went to oppose the city's plan to continue their flock cameras, surveillance, public surveillance. Unfortunately, they voted to continue it anyway, at least until the contract expires in December. Then I guess they'll revisit the issue. And they cut short the meeting, so I didn't get a chance to speak at all. They said I couldn't speak on that item because I hadn't signed. There's an item on the agenda that I guess didn't require a special sign up, but then they cut short the meeting before they got to that item, which is about cooperation with ICE. But the bright side was I did get to be briefly on Telemundo. Just, you know, it was a little bit disappointing because the woman interviewed me for quite a while, but only maybe 15 seconds of me on there and then her overlaying. Anyway, then I was on Sean Osborne's Liberty Blues Network's podcast. I attended two Braver Angels discussions on Civil War 2.0. Braver Angels, like Crossing Party Lines, is a group that has people from different political perspectives come on and chat on a Zoom type thing. So those are good chances to spread libertarian ideas and practice your speaking to non-libertarians. I reached out to Students for Liberty, and I got a list of 36 names, their contacts for all of California. So if anybody is interested in contacting people, contacts, not necessarily active student groups, but contacts they have in your area. The cities include Stanford, Fresno, Santa Cruz, Irvine, Malibu, Berkeley, Cupertino, Sacramento, Orange, LA, Santa Barbara, San Diego, Costa Mesa, Irvine, Fullerton, Santa Clara, Moore Park, Cypress, La Jolla, Huntington Beach, San Luis Obispo, Bakersfield, Visalia, Glendale, Claremont. I think that's the whole list. They're not in order here, but they sent phone numbers and names for those people, email addresses for, actually, wait, is email addresses in here? Maybe not email addresses, snail mail addresses, but phone numbers if anybody wants to reach out to people in your area. I went to a meeting of the San Francisco Youth Commission. They were unfortunately discussing and passed a resolution asking the Board of Supervisors to make it mandatory for people to wear helmets on e-bikes. I spoke against that, but that didn't seem to make a difference. I think maybe my comments on BART and Muni had a little bit more sway with them. They had somebody there presenting, trying to get them to back a sales tax and a regional Bay Area tax to fund regional transit, including BART and Muni in San Francisco. And I pointed out that you know, the additional, the things we usually say about taxes, but also that requiring people to, excuse me, brain fog here. What was I going to say about that? Oh, just the fact that homeless and low-income unemployed people have to pay taxes to fund all these six-figure salaries. I pulled up on ChatGPT, you know, how about half the people at Muni and 65% of the people at BART are making six-figure salaries. And of course, the agencies never offer to cut that. It's always, you know, swallow more taxes or face service cuts. That's the usual way that government agencies roll. So let's see if there's anything else. I completed two surveys, one for the British government and one for the Epoch Times newspaper. The British government one was, again, about public surveillance. They have a proposed digital ID system there. So, of course, I gave them a bunch of negative feedback about that. And then the Epoch Times survey was on birthright citizenship. Both these surveys quite biased from the statist position, but, you know, I think worth giving them some feedback from the Libertarian position. So I think that was about it.
Okay. All righty. Francisco, circling back. Give us a minute.
Yes. All right. So, we have our meetup event this weekend here in Fresno County. It's going to be at Fresno State. They do every spring they do an event. It's like a festival. They call it Vintage Days. So we invited Tom Warder to that event. So we're looking forward to that event this weekend. I did interview him in Spanish. We did a podcast on Sean Osborne's podcast, Liberty Blues. I believe the episode's already out, and that was fun. That was a fun experience. I didn't think it was going to go that long. Went
That's fantastic.
Almost close to 2 hours. Yeah, so it was great. I also attended a forum here in Fresno, a forum of Fresno candidates, like local candidates running for local and state office. And there is one candidate here that's running for city council in Fresno. His name is Nick Wildstar. So I really just went. I mean, he's the one who reached out to me and invited me to the event, so I went just to hear him out. I didn't stay. It was like a whole panel of candidates, but I didn't stay for the entire thing. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it.
Well, that's fantastic. Spanish
Lauren,
podcast with Woodard is great.
Lauren, I realized there was something else I should have mentioned. I think via the forums, people saw that we were approached to endorse an initiative to get rid of top two, except it was phrased as a clean repeal of the old initiative that instituted top two, and there's no such thing. Because what you have to do to change an election is change the election code. I'm getting the feeling that the person who contacted me is a Democratic operative who is being put as the front person who doesn't know anything about it. I was waiting, I told him I wanted more details before I put it on the agenda for the executive committee, and I haven't received that. I don't know if he's received it, but I warned him about some of the things that we were concerned about that were details that needed to be spelled out. So we'll have to see if we get anything before the next meeting.
Okay.
So,
we'll
on
watch
that
for
top two thing, I wouldn't assume that he doesn't know what he's talking about, because things could have changed from now, but my recollection is that when top two was put in, it was put in on top of the existing election code. Now there was one of these, like, notwithstanding anything else in the election code, these offices will be handled this way. So it is possible that the person is correct, that if you deleted the language that was added by top two, it would go back to the way it was.
Right, but that involves making a change to the election code. That's the part he doesn't seem to be aware of. He seems to think that the initiative is to, quote, repeal top two, and that's all he has to say. And he left me with the impression he doesn't understand the whole process. So we'll see. I mean, maybe they have something.
Maybe not, but he might actually be onto something.
Well,
yeah.
We can follow up on it and see where it leads. Absolutely.
Mhm.
All right, so let's move forward to approving the minutes. We have a whole bunch of minutes to approve. Have people gotten a chance to look through the minutes? Should we go ahead and just approve like all the minutes in one big motion, or do people want to break out some specific minutes? Do people have specific commentary they want to do?
I vote we make it simple and approve all of them because Rebecca does such a great job.
All right, we have what sounds like a motion from Pat to go ahead and approve all the minutes.
Second.
Did I hear a second from Mark first? Is that who was first?
Yep, I think so.
Mark snuck it in there. All right, so we have a second from Mark. Thank you, Brandon. And is there any objection to approving these minutes then? All right, fantastic. We'll call them approved. Thank you, Rebecca, for your effort getting all that put together. All right, we are hitting public comment. The great moment. We have 10 minutes. I don't think there's anyone here from the public. Is there someone here? Oh, Jessica's here. Meredith's here. Okay. Well, does anybody who's not on the executive committee want to say anything for a couple of minutes? All right. Well, hearing none, we'll move on through public comment. All right. Let's go to a treasurer's report. Let us have a treasurer's report. Oh, Starchild, yes.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to move that we just allow people in the meeting, if they have something to say when some specific item comes up or whatever, to just be part of the conversation.
If it's germane, I think that's generally a practice that we engage in. I don't. Yeah.
without getting special approval and going through that whole rigmarole. Okay, cool.
Well, I mean, everything's situational, right? But I think that as long as somebody has something germane to say about something we're talking about, and then keep it tight, I don't think anybody has a problem with that.
Great.
So we have treasurer's report. We have something from the treasurer.
Okay, we got something from the treasurer. Not sure what it is, but okay, I sent out an email a few hours ago. I meant to send it last night, but I wanted to make sure that I ran it by Mimi first just to fact check myself. But yeah, I sent out the narrative via email and then the uh, the budget comparison and the statement of financial position, also known as the balance sheet. I'm trying to go through here and pick out which would be the most relevant to you guys. Total cash on hand right now, we have, as of last night, uh, roughly 121,000. Well, exactly 121,184 in 43 cents, and that's distributed through three different bank accounts. Due sharing went out to the different affiliates based on July through December of last year. Those payments have gone out. One thing of significance that I saw is that we were expecting the first quarter of this year to have a rather large deficit of almost 16,000. It actually ended up being close to an $800 deficit. So that's a huge deduction from what we were expecting to see. So that's good news. I'm told that most of this was expenses related to the convention that we just simply didn't have, but we were planning to have. Let's see. I know that on the agenda later on today, we're going to be talking about what to do about affiliates that have folded, but they've relinquished their treasuries to us and what we should do about that. There's three different counties, Nevada, San Bernardino, and Yolo. And so we have about $1,500 of money that's held in trust that we got to figure out what to do with. And that's already on the agenda, I believe. The most important structural change I think we made was that we used to have an accounting firm do our FEC and our FPPC filing, but I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. The consultant we were using, she had been working for free for us for a long time, but then communications had just dropped out, and so we decided that we were going to go with we were going to take that information, we were going to take that process in-house, and we contract with a company called NetFile for that. We're actually spending about a third of what we had budgeted for, because we had planned to budget some money to actually pay our consultant, but now that we no longer have a consultant, that money we're basically going to be paying a third, even though it's more work for Mimi and myself. We're saving about a third of what we plan to spend. So I think that's a good move. And let's see. Mimi, I see your hand is up. And I think that's it.
All right. Mimi, do you have a question or a comment?
No, go ahead. Well, I just have a comment, and thank you so much. And I thought that your report was great. I just wanted to add one little part to that. Is that so? Our accountant that we had, she's still done stuff for us. It's just that I think that there's been a lot of miscommunication. But regardless, it's like what we're doing now is going to save us. We had budgeted $9,600 for her. What we're spending now is $3,200, and I think that it's going to work out really well. So, I don't want to cast aspersions on her, because she may very well have still done our report. She's still done stuff. The weird thing is she just didn't send us invoices, which is just weird. But I just wanted to, I think that she's a very good accountant. She just, I think things sometimes get overwhelming. So I just wanted to add that to the discussion, to not disparage her.
Yeah,
not every professional relationship.
It's not a case where she was, taking our money and then running. She wasn't even billing us. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't want to disparage her and say that she, wasn't going to do the thing. I think she might have still done the thing, but I think that what we're doing now is going to work out really, really well, and I'm excited.
Not every professional relationship works out. It is what it is. But we'll look ahead to see how NetFile works. So that'll be cool. All right. Any other questions or comments for Mike? All righty. Thank you
Yeah, I
very
have a
much.
question.
Joe has a question.
My
Sorry,
question
Joe.
is, you say you no longer using a consultant, you bring it in-house, but there's still $3,200 in expenses. So what exactly is that going to? That's a different kind of consultant? Is it
It's
software? What is it? What is it that we're paying for now
it's
instead of a
basically
consultant?
Mimi, would you call it software as a service?
So it's some sort of online
Yeah,
system that we
Yeah,
pay.
yeah.
So
it's software. That's what it is. What it is that it makes it far easier than using what you use right now. What we would use right now, in the way that Steve Howe used to do it, was with CalFile and FactFile, which are both programs that were written in the 1990s that are very, very difficult to use, and you have to do it line by line, and it's horrible. What NetFile does is it makes it easier to file those reports. It makes it like you can just upload a file and it figures it out for you. And by the way, that is exactly the program that our accountant was using to do it. So this is making a little bit more money, more work for the treasurer, a little bit, but it's much easier and it saves us a lot of money. So yes, it's software. It's an online application basically.
And is this provided by the state as part of the
It's
thing, or this is a
provided by
private thing?
NetFile. It's provided by NetFile. You can go to netfile.com and you can see what
Okay.
they do. It's primarily for, professional treasurers, which is what Kathy was. We never had her as our treasurer because we can't per our bylaws. And by the way, I didn't say that our existing person. But anywho, yeah, it's something that most professional treasurers in the state of California use, and it works for both FPPC and FEC, and it just makes it far easier. We actually looked at two different services, and the other service would have been more expensive and may actually work down the line, but this one is the one that is the best for right now, and it's going to save us a substantial amount of money.
So, but these are an alternative to, like, just generating the reports by hand. I mean,
You're correct.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
correct. We're an electronic filer. We have to
Right.
do it with CalFile, and to do, a 100 or 200 or 500 page report takes a lot of money, or a lot of time. Steve Haug, God bless his soul, was willing to do that. Most people don't have that kind of time.
Right, but they charge. Okay, that's fine. And so so it is possible to file these things without paying this money. It's just a lot of trouble, a lot of work. The state provides some way to provides some way to enter the information without paying another service to do it, right?
You are correct. And here's, I'll add one more thing to this. The CARS system, which was supposed to start in 2018, that the state has now paid $103 million for, which is a new system as opposed to CalFile. And it was they just keep adding more and more money to that budget. I've heard from actually both of the people that I talked to at NetFile and at IS Political that when the CARS service actually is finally up and running, we may be able to get rid of it because it may be just as economical or just as easy to do it with with that particular software or the state solution. Right now, the state solution truly sucks. And so this is just making it so that people that, that aren't retired and have lots and lots of time on their hands, like Mr. Haug, can do.
Okay, I'm not objecting. I'm just trying to understand what it is that we're using.
From my very layman, not especially financially savvy view, this felt to me like TurboTax for political parties. Like it's a online portal that you use that helps you manage all your software and it gets it all submitted where it needs to go. If that helps, am I imagining that? Okay, all right.
And it helps you avoid FEC and fines.
Exactly.
Penalties.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. All right, then. Anything further then on the treasurer's report? Okay. Let's go with Dave's added motion here. Dave has a motion here to add $3,000 to the CSC budget line item in the LPCA 2026 budget to be used for candidate support activities in the 2026 primary and general elections cycle. You want me to throw that in the chat? Dave already put it in the chat.
Yeah. I just needed clarification maybe from Mike and Mimi. So looking at the financial statements, which I was just glancing at, do we have no line item in the budget for CSC expenditures? In which case, my pitch was to add some money to it. But
No, this would not be, your pitch wouldn't be for the CSC. The CSC has nothing to do with this committee. This would be a membership committee addition. The
so what
CSC is totally
changes?
a different, this committee has nothing to do with the CSC budget. That's CSC.
Okay. So is there a line item for membership committee?
We don't currently have one. We've had one in the past.
Okay.
But
I'm
this would
sorry,
not
I've
be
been.
the CSC budget.
Can someone tell me what CSC stands for? And I'm sorry, I don't know.
Candidate Support Committee.
Candidate Support Committee.
Okay.
Well, but the text of the motion says it's to be used for candidate support. So why would it make sense to put it in a membership budget? What is, maybe it would help if you explained what exactly you're talking about using it for. Is this a general allocation for anything that comes up, or is it a particular project that you have in mind?
Dave, do you want me to answer?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay, so what we had actually talked about is that right now there's, and this is coming up later in the thing as well. Dave and the membership committee want to start sending physical mailings, and they want to send those to people that are, older people. The first one, to try to get them to join the party. This is not a candidate. This is not directly a candidate support. It may mention our candidate Tom Woodard, but that wouldn't be something that had to be through the candidate support committee. And I'm not going to bore you all with all of the details about how that works, but this would be an independent expenditure, not a direct, in-kind donation. So it can be made through our budget. And so what I thought that Dave was doing when we talked about it was to ask for a $3,000 budget to the membership committee so that they can have the budget without having to come each time to this committee to ask for a physical mailer. That was my understanding.
Yeah,
So
I think I munged
it. I'm sorry?
I think I munged it.
So the purpose of it, so it really has nothing to do with candidate support. It may relate to a candidate in that it is sort of piggybacking on the fact that we have a candidate in that area, but it's not but the purpose of it is to get people to join the party. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's just the description.
Exactly
the description is just wrong. It should be to add a $3,000 membership, direct mail membership prospecting line item or something.
Well, I think that's what it should say. And you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and make this motion to add $3,000 to the membership. I'm sorry? Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I just posted it to the screen.
Yeah, perfect. I'm going to second that motion.
All right. Well, since we never had a second for the original motion, we'll call it withdrawn and removed. So we have then this new motion, $3,000 membership committee budget line item, and a second. Is there an objection to the budget line item?
Could I request a clarification because I am confused what it means?
Sure. What is your clarification question?
What does it mean? Who are we mailing to? Because Neon has a ton of old dead wood, which is killing us.
This has nothing to do with Neon or emails. This is physical.
No, physical. Yeah, but the Neon has a lot of old records, email and physical addresses that haven't been updated since 2014. So, I mean, these people have
true. That is not true. That is not true, Pat.
All right, that's what I see.
Most of it has been updated. I don't know what you're talking about.
Whether it's been updated or not, this is a way to find out.
Well, truly, I mean, the Neon is not a bad database, but it has not been updated. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say Adrian's administration totally neglected it.
Is Dave even talking about
Dave's got his hand
addresses
up.
from Neon?
Dave's
Was
got
he
his hand
talking?
up. Let's get some clarification from Dave.
Forget about the tool that we use, Pat. This
Which
is
tool?
Neon,
Okay, thanks, Dave.
MailChimp, whatever tool.
No,
Nation
Neon
Builder.
is the central database.
Forget all that. Basically, we need to be doing membership outreach. It can be to
Yes.
lapsed members,
But where's our data stored?
for which we do have a problem with the history and some emails being bad, as I noted. But primarily, it should be to go after new members, people who are registered libertarians.
Okay, I need to back up. Dave, where is our data stored?
The data that we have on membership and donors is in Neon. However,
right.
what I'm
And
thinking
it's old
of,
and it's bad.
Don't interrupt when I'm
Sorry.
trying to finish. The new opportunity is to use L2 to pull registered libertarians, cut them a variety of ways on issues, and do outreach by creating new membership outreach efforts. We haven't done nearly enough of that.
All right, is it okay if I speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, L2 is an external database. We put it in our internal database. Neon is old and full of deadwood, and it is killing us. So we need to clean Neon, and I thought you were going to do a mailing to all these old people who have not been updated since 2014. We need to clean Neon, or it's worthless. So what am I missing?
I think that mailing is a separate project.
All right.
Can I speak?
Mimi,
I've got my hand up.
Go ahead.
So,
Mimi.
Pat, you keep saying that it's deadwood and it's not updated. I have been working very diligently to update it. I've been going line by line trying to figure out all of the lifetime members and what if they're still in Neon or if they're dead. The people that have joined in the last year, the last 2 years, they are absolutely the correct addresses. We've checked them in Neon or in L2. So you're saying a thing that isn't necessarily true. It's not all deadwood. There's a lot of stuff in there that is correct, but you're correct that especially with the lifetime members, there's a lot of stuff that's not true because a lot of those people are dead. But you keep saying this thing that is not true. And so I'm correcting you because I've been working diligently to fix it.
Well, when they use the LPL master, and Wesley, if you're there, there's about 1,500 records that don't even have an email address that are being emailed. So it's killing your deliverability. Neon has to be cleaned.
No, so the thing that we just sent out that had the really low open rate, that had nothing to do with Neon. That was from voter registration database. So I won't say anything more about this, but what you're talking about is just not correct. Yeah,
I
beg to differ.
I think we are starting to peel off topic just a little bit.
Right,
But
true.
Star Child, you have your hand up.
Yeah, if I can, I think what I heard Pat saying is simply that we don't want to do a big mailing to a list until that list has been cleaned. I understand Mimi's saying it's in the process of being cleaned. All I heard Pat saying was we don't want to do a big mailing until that happens.
True, the Neon list has a lot of garbage on it. We should run it through a cleaner and delete. Has anybody ever deleted anything out of Neon? I mean, people died 10 years ago and they're still on it.
We can't expect them to log in and tell us that they died.
No, we have to be a bit proactive. Thank you, Joe. It kind of makes my day. Dead people need to help us.
There is a note that you can mark the people as deceased.
But they're still on the mailing list.
No, they're not.
Yes, they
They're
are.
in Neon.
It says, well, yes, but I mean, like, they are on the mailing list and they will be emailed unless you tell Neon to prevent them. So it's a sloppy database.
Okay, can we call a question, please?
All right, let's move.
Dave.
Let's move forward to the question then at hand. Let me scroll back into the chat here. The motion on the floor is to create a $3,000 membership committee budget line item in the LPCA 2026 budget to be used for membership prospecting in the 2026 primary and general elections cycle. That is the motion. It has been seconded. Is there an objection to doing that?
I'm going to vote no. So there's an objection.
All right, then let's go ahead and vote this out.
Yeah, it needs roll call then
Yep.
because it's
Rebecca,
actually changing the budget.
Rebecca, go ahead and roll call us out then, please.
Am I seated and able to vote on this or no?
I think no. I think everyone is here. All the at-larges are here. Is that correct, Rebecca?
Yes, all the at-larges are here, so Star Child is not seated.
Okay.
All right, Pat.
I'm
you
voting
said
no. It's not
I'm voting
clean.
Me, Rebecca, I will vote yes. Mike,
I'm going to agree with Pat. I vote no.
Joe,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yeah, I got faith in the L2.
Francisco. Francisco, are you still here?
He's muted.
Are you on mute, Francisco? Let's come back to Francisco.
All right, June,
Yes.
Mark,
Absolutely.
Wesley,
I vote yeah. Yes.
Mimi,
100% yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
and let's go back. Francisco, can you vote?
It's a yes from
Okay, and Lauren.
All right, where are we at? It sounds like this is passing.
Yeah, there's 11 yes and 2 no.
All right, then I don't need to vote. This I won't vote, and it sounds like this will carry then. So we will go ahead and add that membership committee budget line item per that motion. All righty. All right. Next motion on our agenda are the ones that were submitted by Mimi as standing rules here. Has everybody gotten a chance to review those? Let's see here. Okay, I'll read out this first one. It's a couple of paragraphs here, but I will attempt to use my radio voice. So, Mimi moves that we adopt a new standing rule to be inserted into the Operating Procedures Manual on page 17 immediately following the membership dues sharing section to read as follows under the heading Inactive County Assets. In the event the Executive Committee declares a county organization to be inactive pursuant to Bylaw 10, Section 6, the outgoing officers of that county may transfer its remaining funds to the state party. These funds shall be held in trust by the state party for a period of 1 year, or until a chair pro tem, appointed per Bylaw 10, Section 4, successfully reorganizes the county, whichever occurs first. If the county is not reorganized within 1 year, the funds shall be transferred to the state party general fund, that is the restricted account. Does everybody understand that motion?
Yep.
All right. So that is the motion that Mimi has made to make here in the thing. Do we have a second for this motion?
Second.
Looks like Mark was in there on that second again. He's the old gunslinger on the seconds tonight. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have an objection to adding that language to the Operating Procedures Manual? Mike, you have your hand up before we do any objecting and stuff.
I'm going to move to amend Mimi's proposal to say there should be 2 years, not 1 year. I don't think 1 year gives them a fair chance.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a motion to amend that to just change 1 year to 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that has a second. Is there an objection to changing 1 year to 2 years in the motion? All right. Hearing none, we'll call it amended. So that being the case, then, is there an objection to this change to the Operating Procedures Manual as amended?
I have a question. What I think is a question.
Okay, Joe, go ahead.
So there is something already in the bylaws, I don't have the language in front of me, that relates to what happens when a county is inactive and then becomes active. This seems to, I believe that has to do with dues sharing and says essentially, since you were inactive and nobody was getting dues sharing, you get a certain amount of times worth of dues sharing. This seems to be a separate thing and not inconsistent with that. Am I right?
I believe you are correct. But
one has to do with the money they would have gotten from dues sharing. The other has to do with their own money that they got from
that they already
potentially
had.
anywhere,
Yeah.
including previous dues sharing before they went inactive.
I believe you are correct, but we'll let Mimi.
So
she's got her
can
hand up
Mimi
here.
or as the author or
Yeah, well,
yeah,
I'm the author, and I'll yeah. So no, they're different. Right now, we say that an inactive county, if they become active, they get 1 year's past dues sharing. This is different. This is when an active county becomes inactive, which happened in those particular instances, and they actually send us money. They give us money to the state
right.
party.
It's like an asset
hold
rather than
in
income.
trust. Right, which if you look at our, if you look at our financials, that's what it shows as. It shows as that this is something that we are holding in trust. We can't use that money because it's being held in trust for something else. And there's nothing in our bylaws that even talk about that. It's just something that has happened. So this is nothing to do with dues sharing whatsoever. This is about if a county actually gives us the money to hold in trust until they reorganize, we hold it and then we give it back to them. But we've got counties, and the counties that, we're currently holding money for, we've been holding it for 4 to 5 years. How long do we hold this $1,500 in trust?
So it's a thing that we have done in the past, including currently, but there was never really a specific rule about. And this
Correct.
would make it clear that we are offering this service and put a time limit on it.
Correct.
Okay. And the way they would interact is if a county was inactive for a year and then became active, they would get whatever the previous incarnation of that county had put in trust this way, and they would also get a year's worth of dues sharing.
Correct, because the dues sharing has nothing to do with this particular thing.
Right. It's the income they didn't get during that.
Right, but this is Mike's amendment, so it would be 2 years, not 1 year.
Right. No, I picked 1 year because I think you said that the dues thing was only 1 year's worth.
Point of personal privilege.
Star Child has his hand up, but what's up, Mark? We got to go start. I'll go Star Child.
I was wondering if that verbiage could be displayed on the screen, shared on the screen.
We maybe. Let's see here. I will stick it in the chat. Let's see here.
I think.
What are we asking for?
That's correct. The text.
Text displayed on the screen.
Okay. Yep. I can put it in the. I can put it in the chat.
Shared.
I don't know.
Who's asking? Me.
I threw it in the chat. It's in the chat. The language is in the chat there.
Thank you.
Yep. Star Child, you have your hand up.
Yeah, for anyone who's looking at it, I was just wondering if someone could say what are the I don't recall if there's specific criteria that have to be met in order to declare a county inactive, or is it just basically anytime the XCOM decides they can do that if that's what they believe or are saying is the case? I'm a little bit concerned that there could be political.
It has nothing to do with that, Star Child. It has nothing to do with that.
If I could just finish the thought, there's I'm a little bit concerned that there might be a situation in the future where they don't like some county, they declare them inactive when people perhaps are leaving the county office that they like, and a new group coming in that the state party doesn't like, and then just say, okay, well, they're inactive, and so therefore we're gonna be able to take their funds.
Well, as if I may, Star Child, if you look at the text there that I just stuck in the chat, I think that might allay your fears. One, there is apparently a process by which a county is declared inactive. We're referencing Bylaw 10, Section 6. That's in the language of the motion. So there's some process by which that happens. Then, and then the next clause there says the outgoing officers of that county may transfer its remaining funds to the state party. So I think that there is there's a potential there for somebody who, in some nightmare scenario, is being force inactive to simply hold on to their money. This is not a shall transfer, it's a may transfer. Does that make sense?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And
I guess I was
that's
just
exactly
wondering
what it is.
I guess I was just wondering if there is any criteria that have to be met before a county can be declared inactive.
I think that's by law 10 section 6 per the language of the motion.
Yes, but what does that by law 10 section 6
I don't
say?
know. Go look it up.
That they
But,
can
but,
do?
Yeah,
but this doesn't change that.
Yeah, this doesn't change that at all. Mimi has her hand up. She's waving her hand. She's waving her hands like crazy.
Yeah.
I think she has an answer. Go ahead, Mimi.
Yeah, Starchild, this is only counties that have done this thing where they decided that they were giving us the money back because they didn't have enough people to have an organized county. It says may because they don't have to. If you have a county organization and somehow you don't meet that bylaw, you can keep on keeping on with your money as long as you want. You don't have to because there's no way we can force another FPPC committee to give us money. This is very specifically a may situation, which is exactly what's happened. So you're saying a thing that's not the thing.
I think Mimi, you'd be misunderstanding me a little bit. The scenario I was wondering about is a case where, okay, there's outgoing county officers, maybe they don't like the new people coming in, and maybe the state party is more in line with the faction of the outgoing officers. So the outgoing officers say, well, we're just going to, transfer our money to the state and say it's inactive because we don't like these other people. We don't want them to be able to have control of the funds at the local level. Is there something in bylaw 10 section 6 that would prevent a county from being declared inactive unless certain criteria are met? That's, I guess, what I was really asking.
Nope, because the county that's active can do whatever they want with the money. I'm not sure what you're saying because
yeah, that's not
they
really
have to make us. They have to actually send us the money. They have to. We're not taking the money. We have no right to that money. They have to actually send us a check to give us the money.
I get that, Mimi, but I don't think you're not understanding my question. Apparently.
I think fundamentally, Starchild, the answer to your question is no. There is nothing that stops people from trying to hurt each other with bureaucracy. And if there are rules, someone at some point, some bad actor, will attempt to use those rules to cause harm to someone else. There is no amount of guardrailing and fantasizing that we can do in the bylaws to absolutely prevent such a thing from happening. And if that happens, it'll be very situational. There'll be a lot of moving parts, and it's really impossible to write really, really granular rules about it. The motion that is on the floor here is what happens when a party recognizes voluntarily that they simply don't have the manpower to keep going, but they have money and they don't know what to do with it. And in that instance, that very specific instance, this is creating language that allows them to transfer that money back to the state party to hang on to while they get themselves sorted out, and then the money can be given back to them. The scenario that you are presenting is way beyond what's happening in this language here on the floor right now.
Question's been called.
All right. Mimi's calling the question. Joe has his hand up.
I have a question.
Okay.
How long, these three counties are mentioned. How long have we been holding their money? And since two of them are in my area, and there was somebody there in each of those places who might or might not in some reasonable period of time be able to reactivate it. I'm a little bit concerned about the idea that they entrusted some previous, them or their friends entrusted this money to us, and now we are essentially without any warning giving that money away to the general fund. Is there any way to deal with that?
It's been over 4 months. So,
Over what?
I mean 4 years. Over
in
4 years.
Each of these cases has been more than 4 years?
Yes. I can give you exact dates if you'd like.
I don't care about the exact dates. I just want to know that it's been a long time. And if one of these counties did become organized, in your opinion, would it be in order for the executive committee to take money from the general funds and give them a similar amount of money back? Not as an obligation,
absolutely.
Not as a legal.
Yes, absolutely, as a motion. That could happen.
Right. As a separate motion, say these guys are now organized. They left $149.14 with us. We'd like to give them that money to do what they want. It would not be.
Absolutely.
We are
Okay.
absolutely empowered to do that.
Okay, good. That's all I want to hear. I'm not saying any of them are going to. I would just hate for them to be about to reorganize and then find that the money they thought they had in trust with us is gone. But fine. All right. It's really been 4 years at least for all these cases, and we can undo it if we want, then I won't object.
All right. So that being the case, then we have the motion here in the chat. That motion has been moved and seconded and amended and folded and spindled and mutilated, and now it comes to us for a vote. Is there an objection to this language adding to the operating procedures manual? All righty, hearing none, we will go ahead and call that passed. So we'll add that to the OPM on page 17 per the motion. All right. Related motion number 2. Pursuant to the standing rule just adopted regarding inactive county assets, motion to transfer the funds currently held in trust for inactive counties, a total of $1,542.76, as identified in the March 10, 2026 Treasurer's Report, into the State Party General Fund, the restricted account, as these funds have remained in trust. This says more than 1 year, but I just heard Mimi say that it has been more than 2 years.
I think she said it was more than 4 years.
No, what I said was that what's changed is that Mike made an amendment to make that 2 years.
No. But the facts of the situation, this 1542.76 has all of that been in trust with us for more than 4 years.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Then I move to amend that more than 1 year to say more than 4 years. Just to establish the fact that we're being totally reasonable here. We're not doing it after 1 year when we just made the general rule be 2 years. When we were actually doing this on the basis of even longer period.
All righty. So
okay, I'm going to object to that and say that it's 2 years, not 4 years, because what we just passed was 2 years, not 4 years.
All right. So we have an amendment to the amendment. To call
I don't really care. I was originally going to say 2 years just to make it match the other one.
All right. Well, in the interest of just keeping
fine, make it 2
smooth,
years.
In the interest of making it smooth, this changes that last little line there, as these funds have remained in trust for more than 2 years, to bring it in line with the previous motion language. Does everybody see that in the chat? All right. So this motion is here. This is fronted out by Mimi. Do we have a second for this motion?
Second.
We have a second from Pat. Do we have any objection to this? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll call that passed, and the treasurer can take care of that. All right, let's move us forward into the committee reports. Paul, I believe you wanted to say something about the membership committee. So let's do that before we get into Nation Builder.
All right, just quickly, we had our first meeting, and I was elected to be the chair of the committee. There were no other volunteers. It was unanimous, except for Brandon was not there. He showed up a little late for the meeting. So other than that, it was unanimous. Nobody else was willing to take the job, I guess. And then we discussed what each member on the committee was willing to do. And June had mentioned that she was planning to resign from the membership committee because of the time commitment she has for her medical issues. But I haven't heard her actually say, I am resigning. So if June wants to chime in right now.
Let me get back to the right screen. As long as you don't expect too much of me, I'm willing to stay on and be a vote. I don't remember where we are in terms of the number of people we need or want. But what I'm not going to be doing is looking for new sources of members, which is what the part of the membership committee that I was interested in, is where can we look for new members as opposed to prospecting among all our old member lists. I was looking for places to reach out to for where we might find prospective libertarians. But that part I'm giving up, but I'm willing. I mean, and I do find it worthwhile to respond to some of the stuff that comes in via the forms. So I'm willing to keep doing that stuff. So and I don't feel a need to, unless you want to kick me off for lack of adequate participation, I'm willing to stay on for now.
All right, that's fine. And then Mimi had said she wanted to volunteer to be on the committee, but that's under the next thing on the agenda, committee appointments. So we'll deal with that later. The last thing we did was we discussed the fact that we have all these inquiries coming in from the contact us button on the website, and they all go to the membership committee and to the office email. And there's been a lack of response to those. So Mimi said that we're updating the website to provide a drop-down menu to try to help people get emails sent to the appropriate place. And in the meantime, I volunteered to respond within, if nobody else on the committee has responded within 24 hours. And if people have been responding, they really need to CC the membership committee so we know that they've been responded to. And that's all I have to say.
Can I ask? Because I see the responses coming and they ask like, did Brendan or did Pat respond? And I was like, I don't know what's happening in San Diego because we go to bed earlier and Brandon is more in charge of San Diego. But what happens to these people on their email addresses?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
All right, someone sends in a form and they say, I want more information about what's happening in San Diego. And I get an email and says like, Brendan or Pat, will you please respond? And I'm like, I don't know what happens to it. I didn't respond because I really don't, I'm not that active in San Diego because there's no parking in San Diego because there's all bike lanes. And I'm married and with a very short leash. So is someone taking care of these leads, these prospects?
That's what I just discussed, is that if we're going to be sending these emails to the specific place where they need to go instead of all going to membership. And if they're not, until the drop-down menu is set up, then I will respond if nobody else does. But
what happens?
The only way we find out if nobody's responded, that somebody's responded, is if they CC the membership committee list.
Well, so someone needs to be totally responsible.
I can respond to that too. So the area coordinators are a part of the committee. So if it's kind of like in our area, like if it's San Diego or LA, Orange County, and they tell me ahead of time, hey, I'm from Orange County, how can I help? I'll usually, try to get to the chair of Orange County or chair of whatever county it is and, hook them up accordingly. So if in San Diego, I'm kind of that contact, me or Joe the chair. So kind of like that. And if we don't reach out, then Paul will be there, because if someone's in San Francisco, I'm not going to say, hey, as a Southern area coordinator, what can I do for you? That's not really my area, right? So, yeah, if that kind of helps
What
answer
it doesn't
things.
tell us is that you did something. That's what we're not getting the feedback on.
Yeah,
You took an action that was outside of the response to the form, which was a positive action, but the rest of the people who received the original inquiry didn't know that you took that action. So you should have done something sent something to the committee saying, I've taken care of this at least.
We need a procedure. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing because I assume Brandon took care of it, but I don't know. Brandon's really good. I love Brandon. But
I get
it would be
that,
nice
so.
to harvest the information.
Makes sense.
Well, the procedure that we just agreed to in the membership committee is that if you respond to an inquiry, which I hope people other than me will step up to the plate and do it, is you just simply CC your message to the person who's making the inquiry. You CC it to the membership committee.
Okay, well, we don't get an email address out of that. We don't get a name or an email address. We just get someone contacted us.
I think he's asking, does it go into some sort of database? Does it go into
needs to
Neon
go, yeah,
or something?
Now, I used to be able to go into the LPC database, but the LPC website, but I have been locked out, which is fine because my hands are full and you don't want a lot of people, excuse me, fucking things up. So I appreciate that, but I cannot go into that form, which I paid for, by the way, but it was only like $34. But it'd be nice to go, to harvest these people and put them into the Be Libertarian and the Beacon.
Well, from the inquiry, that if you pull down the addresses on the email, the email that was sent from the inquirer is right there on the email.
No, it doesn't show the email. It shows the name and it shows the content and what they asked. I want to be more active. Yada yada yada. Here's my name.
No, it absolutely shows the email, and if you respond to it, it will give that to the person. That is not true.
That
The
You
is
have to
email is
click on the
right there.
from.
All right.
that is also how I discovered it, Pat, is if you click reply, then their email pops up and it
All right, I will
populates
try
it to you.
that.
I was
We,
talking about is something different.
yeah.
Brandon took action outside of responding to the form, and we didn't hear about it because there was no feedback via the form. Are people
Well,
following?
I hit reply all on the email, so I don't know if that's
Okay, but I thought you said you contacted Orange County as opposed
I
to,
Yeah.
I did, and then I contacted them accordingly, like got them um connected per se.
you also responded to the form? I mean, I don't remember the particular instance.
I don't remember a form, so
Well,
probably not.
we got a problem
I
here.
think
People who request information from us should go into central database. The central database is Neon, but what reports in Neon can we harvest them from?
this may be rolling into a conversation that's a little bit more in the weeds that needs to happen in an actual membership committee meeting in terms of talking
Well,
about
I thought I
process
was
and
on
that sort of thing.
membership, but I didn't get a notice that there was a meeting, and I don't even know because there's so many committees. I volunteered to be on membership, but I never got a notice that there was having a meeting because I have so many emails. There's just too much, excuse me, shit to go through. Could be my fault,
I
which
call for
usually is.
orders of the day.
Okay. All right. I think that it's an interesting concern. It's a valid concern. I think it's a concern to take up offline with Paul and Brandon and the rest of the membership committee.
All right, thank you.
Star Child, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I have related concern, and I hope I can express this and hopefully get some meaningful response
Concisely,
without
please.
anybody jumping down my throat about it. I'm concerned about the calendar on the state website. Like Pat, I didn't know there was a membership meeting. I just looked on the state calendar, and I don't know if there's a way to look at past events or only upcoming events. But I would like everyone, including myself, to be able to post the things to the calendar, and that can be a place where we can easily look and see if there are any upcoming meetings. I also would like to know exactly who has what access to the website. I'm on the web committee, but I don't believe I have access. I would like access at least to some parts of the site, including the calendar, and I would like to know exactly who has what access. I heard Mimi again mentioning talking to Maria. I don't remember seeing any of that correspondence. Again, I'm on the website information technology committee, but I don't know what's going on with that. And I'd like more transparency and more access to at least the basic functions of the website to be able to have people add stuff, meetings, blog, etc.
I think similarly, I think you're in a position here that is similar to Pat's concerns about how we're handling communication that
Yeah,
comes in. I think this is
that's
this is
why
a
I
thing. This is a
mentioned
thing for the committee, for the Web IT committee to take up. That's not something that we can hash out here. I hear what
Well,
you're saying, but that's not
how
really
can
something
I,
that can be addressed here tonight.
in the meantime, how can I get access to the calendar to be able to post stuff? How can I ensure that other people
I
have access to be able
I
to
think
post
it
stuff?
should talk to the rest of the committee, the Web IT committee. I don't know. There's nothing
I,
that this committee can do about that
I
right
think
now.
most people are on this call.
Well,
So
yes, but there's other business has to get dealt with here tonight. So, I mean, by all means, continue this conversation with Mimi and Wes and the rest of the Web IT group. But I don't know that it's anything that we are going to be able to resolve here tonight, with regard to the granular details of the
okay,
website calendar.
I just would ask to be kept in the loop on stuff relating to the website. I see Mimi posted in the chat. We are working on it. Issues with web crawlers, but I'd like to be part of that conversation as a member of the website information technology committee, and I'd like to hear people's thoughts. If there's no objection to giving everybody access to the calendar, then what do we need to do to make that happen? I'm willing to help do whatever needs to be done to make that happen.
Well, I think that's again, I don't think that's a question for us here tonight. But let's talk about something regarding Web IT. Let's talk about some Web IT stuff. I heard back from TJ Ferreira. I know that there has been some concern about what TJ is doing with Nation Builder and that sort of thing. So I want to talk about this, and Star Child, you might appreciate this too. I asked TJ what's going on with the Nation Builder implementation, and his response is, according to his text here, quote, I made a copy of the current website and exported data from Neon and imported it into Nation Builder. The website has some holes that require business decisions. And then the big one, I need testers at this point. So TJ is looking for people to go play around in his test server and try to break it so that he can figure out how to make it work.
Okay, that was part of the next committee report, which is the website
sorry.
IT.
All right, my bad. I'm stealing your thunder then. Carry on, Mimi. Go ahead with the web IT report, and then we'll do that.
I find it really interesting that TJ sent you that text because we already, if you look at that report, shows that we've already figured all of that out.
Oh, you
TJ
have?
has not gotten back to me, and I've tried to get a hold of him. So that was already determined. So if you look at that report, that's already happened.
Well, that intrigues me because I have a text exchange from an hour ago. This is a text exchange from like 2 hours ago now. So
no, I totally get it, but I would like, if people could look at the website committee report that I sent out, which was completely about that. So I just want to say that the committee met on February 22nd to plan out how we were going to test digital Crickle version of Nation Builder. It shows that we had gone through the thing, what the testing environment is going to be. The timeline of events was on February 22nd. The committee met and identified specific test groups. On March 9th, we followed up with TJ as the contract and NDA were still outstanding. On March 13th, all things were signed and I gave him the access. So the next steps for our meeting on the 22nd of February was TJ was supposed to complete the data import so that testing could begin. Me was going to coordinate with the Treasurer and Secretary to test state level membership and financial features. Joe Dean led, he was going to lead the testing for Alameda, Sacramento, and Santa Clara counties. And Wes was going to test the email and newsletter features with Victor. So that was all discussed at that meeting, and it was all, it was already figured out. I'm a little confused why TJ didn't respond to the full committee on any of this stuff, but I really like TJ, but that's interesting because that was discussed because we are already doing that thing. So that was actually my website committee report.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to try and speak for TJ.
Right. But what's the one added feature of that is that Maria has been working on updating our email to respond to some of the stuff that Starchild has mentioned. The committee, we have a shared document of everything that's going on there. He can absolutely chime in on that. We had a meeting, we talked about it, and honestly, the main people that have chimed in were Joe, Wes, and me, and she's working on that. So that's what's going on with the website committee. Or I'm sorry, website IT committee.
Well, fair enough. So is that testing happening then? You guys are in it and messing with it?
No,
not yet.
Because he's not done that. He may say that he's working on it, but he's given us no further updates since then.
I see.
And again, I love TJ dearly, but that has not happened.
Okay, Joe has his hand up.
So I have an update similar to Lauren's. I also talked to TJ today. And perhaps it's the fact that I talked to him is why he texted Lauren. I don't know for sure, but the timing sounds likely. Anyway, I called him to essentially ask him what's going on. And he told me that he had set up a working copy or whatever of the website, and he had set up the membership database, that he confirmed that he had the data from Neon. He said something, I don't know the details, but something like he had imported it, but he wasn't satisfied with the way he had imported it. I don't know if it means he decided he wants different fields or what. And then he was going to do it again differently. I don't know exactly when, but it sounded like it was soon. And at that point, we would be able to be doing our testing. I also specifically asked him about my concern about additional data from counties, and he told me that if I would provide him with a sample of those kinds of records, he would import it or he would give me access to try importing it myself. So I think there is some progress. I think there's also been a lack of communication. I don't know why. I'm guessing maybe he's just become distracted by other projects or something. But anyway, it sounds like he's still prepared to work on it, but somehow has not been communicating that proactively to our committee.
Okay, well, thank you, Joe. That kind of jives with the text exchange that I had with TJ here this evening. Starchild, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to request if there's any correspondence with TJ or Maria or anybody else regarding the website, that everybody copy the website Information Technology Committee on that correspondence, so that not side stuff being discussed between small numbers of people without the committee being in the loop on it. I didn't see anything about a report being prepared for this meeting. Again, if stuff was able to be put in the calendar, this would address some of the issues with meetings, but I look forward to hearing on that, what we're going to do to make that happen.
Well, Mimi did make a report based on the information she had at the time. Both I and Lauren had very, very recent communications this afternoon with Lauren that were not taken into account in that.
I've emailed TJ a couple of times to say, hey, where are we at? Like, what can I tell the committee about where we're at? What's the report on where we're at? And I got no response. So I texted him directly this afternoon. Apparently,
you texted him?
Yeah, I texted him. Like, apparently, right after you talked to him.
And I called him. So apparently,
he just got off the phone with you. My text exchange with TJ seems to indicate that there is currently a big test environment that people can go and play in and get used to and ask questions and try and break, so that that can move ahead. I'm hazy on how exactly people, like, what the team is that's going to do that, but it appears that we're at that stage of development of Nation Builder at this point.
Okay. I would again just ask that people. I would just ask that these communications be copied to the website committee. And Joe, I know there was a
so what I did was I got into the executive committee meeting tonight, and I told you guys about my text exchange so that you know.
And I told you too. I did not make a recording of my phone call with him.
Yeah, no, I'm not asking for recordings of phone calls, but for any written communications, and for reports, if there's going to be a report, it'd be nice to have some heads up on that. See if other members of the committee have any input, and what's going to be presented as a report. That's all.
Okay. All right. Any further question or comment on Web IT as it stands? It sounds like if you want a piece of this testing, you need to.
I just want to say that there's so many communications between texts and emails and to various email addresses and Signal. It's extremely hard to keep up on what is going on. So I sympathize with Starchild. And yes, sometimes I get lost. And if there was an IT meeting, I think Mimi said last that there will not be an IT meeting, but if there's a membership meeting, it's like I missed it because there's just like 500 different ways to communicate. So please be sympathetic, and very nice to have a better way of communicating.
Fair. All right. Any further question or comment on Web IT today? All right. Is there any other?
Do we have an upcoming meeting of the Web IT committee, Mimi?
No, we don't, because I actually tried to do that. People didn't want to do that, which is why I started that shared document, which people have been using, but we went back and forth on that. But that is something that you should reply to those emails, not part of this meeting.
Okay. I just want to figure out the best way to keep everybody in the loop. That's all.
All right. Anything further then on this?
Respond to the emails.
All right. Anything further then on this web IT thing? All right. Is there any other committee discussion that we need to deal with tonight? Is there anything in from other committees? Anybody on a committee have something they want to try and talk about regarding their committee? Okay. All right, let's move ahead to committee appointments. I think, Paul, you had a committee appointment that you wanted to try and suggest.
Yeah, the OPM says that we have 7 members in the committee plus the chair as an ex officio. And according to what's on our website, we have Lauren, Joe, Brandon, June, Mark, Dave, and me. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus Lauren. And then Mimi had volunteered that she would like to be on the committee. And Pat had mentioned earlier in this meeting that he had been appointed to the committee, but I don't recall that happening. If it's something I missed, then we can add him to the. But he's also not on the membership committee email list then. So anyway, definitely want to see if we can get I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mimi to the membership committee, even though I hate making nominations without having a competitive nomination process like we used to have when we had email ballots going back and forth. But it is what it is. We have a volunteer, and so I'd like to make the motion to appoint Mimi to the membership committee.
Second.
And Mark is in there with a second. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion needs to happen on this? All right. Is there any objection to appointing Mimi to the membership committee? All right. Then we'll appoint Mimi to that open seat on the membership committee.
There is an additional seat if Pat would like to be on the committee.
I thought I was on the committee. I'm so confused.
Well, you're not on the list of membership committee members on the website.
I thought I was. I checked it. Like I said, I lost a pair of shoes earlier today, and I've been drinking because it is already 8:09 p.m. But I thought I was on it, and I have some plans of stuff I'd like to do and bother the heck out of all you. So if you'll put up with me, and I know that's asking a lot.
Somebody would need to make a motion to appoint you then.
Oh
I will happily move to appoint Pat to the membership committee.
I can always count on Mark.
Mark moves to appoint Pat to the membership committee. Do we have a second for that?
Thank God for Mark.
Second. Looks like Star Child with a second there. So we have a motion and a second to appoint Pat to the membership committee.
I'll try to stay out of trouble.
Is there famous last words? Is there a objection to Pat to Pat's appointment to the membership committee?
You will tell me when the meeting is, right?
Oh, we got to do that?
I hope so.
Depends on how you behave.
Easily.
We'll need to have the secretary add you to the membership committee email list then.
I've been nice to Rebecca, so
all right. So any objection to Pat being appointed then to the membership committee?
They like me. They really like me.
All right. Oh,
and in that case, that fills all the available slots.
Actually, Wes raises an interesting procedural question here. Wes asks, can Star Child second, as he is not presently a seated member of the committee?
Well, I'll second.
Wes. Oh, so Wes jumps in with a second just to make it official. Okay.
Thank you, Wes. Right. I appreciate
that. So we'll do that. All right.
I really appreciate that.
So retroactively, then we have a motion in a second, and there was no objection. So Pat, welcome to the membership committee.
God.
Phew. All right. Man, Robert's rules. Boy. Okay.
I didn't say it out loud because I was honestly asking a question. I didn't know if somebody had left and then Star Child got seated. I walked out of my room for a minute and then I came back into this.
Wesley,
no, to my knowledge, no one has left. Yeah, but we made it work. Okay. Go us. All right. So let's move. Any further committee appointments that we want to try and take up here at this time?
I would be interested in serving on the convention committee.
I think at this stage there is not a convention committee at all.
Oh, okay.
Unless you're volunteering to chair the convention committee.
I don't understand that. I thought there was a convention committee and they already had a bid.
A bid has arrived, but I don't know that there is an actual convention committee.
Well, you got to have a convention committee. That's pretty important.
Then that bid was not competitive compared to some of the other ones. Are we talking about the bid from Sacramento?
Right. Yeah, we have that's on the agenda for later, but
Okay, so hold on it, but don't forget it.
okay. All right. All right. So if there are no further committee appointment deals here, then question in the chat: has the convention date location been chosen yet? The short answer is no. Um, so our next thing on the agenda is National Convention 2026 delegate additions and approvals.
So we did not appoint anybody to any other committees other than
We did
Mimi
not
and Pat to the
Mimi and
membership.
Pat to membership. Yes, that is what happened. All right, so I have here a thing here. National Convention 2026 delegate additions and approvals. I still have a note here about Gail Lightfoot. Have we heard from Gail Lightfoot yet?
No, I have not. We also got 2 emails from the forum and I checked them and neither of them were eligible.
Okay. All right.
Who were the 2, Rebecca?
Let's see. One was Donovan Spencer. He told me that he had been seated in another state, so I don't need to deal with that anymore. And what else? Let's see the other one.
There was a
It was
I haven't
Amy
Amy.
Misko.
Yeah, I
She
see
was
that here.
ineligible.
She's
Yeah,
ineligible. Okay.
she's a
I hate
different
to ask,
state,
but
so
you know,
okay.
being an old-time libertarian and going back with Gail Lightfoot, I thought it was a matter of her well-being. Does anybody know, is she doing okay? Or I know she has, have problems.
We need to
Yeah,
call.
she hasn't responded. She can no longer speak. I've reached out to her several times. Right now, she's not responded. So
That's very worrisome.
unfortunately, we can't. Yeah, but unfortunately, we can't do it because no, I've reached
know.
out, and I've actually also reached out to her son.
Well, keep me posted because she goes back so long. She's been such a hard worker, and it's just really sad to see this. So, I mean, my best wishes for her. And it's just sad to see people have health problems. When you get older,
Fair
Mimi,
enough. Time comes for us all.
doesn't it?
Alrighty, so we have I have a thing here, National Convention 2026 proposal for substitute bylaws report. I wish I had more to tell you guys about this.
So we did not actually add anybody as a delegate.
We did not actually add anybody as a delegate.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been contacted by Kyle Davis and Amanda Griffiths, who are movers within the LP Alliance movement within the Libertarian Party. They have an alternative bylaws report. They are very concerned about the nature and work of the current National Bylaws Committee, and it is their intention to try to move to replace the National Bylaws Committee report with an entirely different report from the floor at convention. They want to try and make that report as public as possible so that people can see it. I told them to send me the details and I would forward it along to you guys, but they have not sent me those details yet. As soon as I have those details, I will be passing them along to everybody so that you can be aware that there's a move to deal with all of this and reasons for them to do it at the national convention. Mimi, you have
Hey,
your hand up,
David.
or did I address what you were going to say?
Well, yeah, kind of. Yeah, no, they didn't send it to you, so I have nothing more to say.
Okay.
Except for, yeah, never
Right.
mind.
I mean, there's nothing to see, so anything that we talk about would all just be speculation at this point. But as soon as I get like links to the shared documents and their plan for what they're going to do, I'll be sharing it with this committee, and hopefully we can get it before the May meeting.
I actually I have one more thing to say then.
Okay.
I don't think that this committee has anything to do with that. That's going to be delegates at convention. I don't believe that this committee needs to be involved in that because it's simply going to be delegates at convention. So I think
All right,
they
well, that's
need
fair.
to send that out to the membership. I don't think that has anything to do with the executive.
Well, that's a good question because my question was, does this committee need to approve distributing such a thing to our delegates? Or if that comes to me, can I just send it straight to the people who are going to be national delegates?
I don't see a problem with sending it to the delegates if they send it to us. I don't, but I think
That's
that
not
we should, if we do that, also include the bylaws committee report.
okay. That's fair. Um, okay, so as
So
when and if this thing shows up, I'll be distributing it to people, to the delegates, and to you guys. So, and of course, everybody here, I think, is a delegate. So
well,
that Venn diagram is like two overlapping circles.
so Mimi seems to know something about this. I know nothing about this. I know that I know that there are bylaws proposals that would do certain from the bylaws committee that would do certain things like change the structure of the LNC. I don't know how many proposals there are. Is the bylaws committee set of bylaws committee proposals available somewhere online?
Lauren said he was going to send that, I think.
In the phone conversation I had with Kyle and Amanda, the crux of their concern is that the National Bylaws Committee has been extremely slow and reluctant to actually show anyone their report.
But
And
they're
that's
apparently following suit by not sharing their proposal either.
well, I'm not going to defend that.
So we have two secret bylaws committees.
That's right. There are
that
two
wanna,
secret bylaws reports. I can't think of anything more libertarian than that.
I've actually been, I'm in receipt of the bylaws committee report. The reason why it hasn't been shared is because they are still working on the order. They plan on sending out the usual thing that they do, which is the survey.
They're working on the what?
That, the order of the proposals. They're finalizing the report.
But the substance of it is already decided.
Issue. Right. I don't think that there's any issue with me sending it to you guys, because I'm in receipt of that, so I can do that. And I got it.
I'm curious as to what it has.
Any kind of caveat. I thought I sent it to you, Joe, but anyway, I'll send it to this committee. But they are going to do the thing. So, and then the other one, I will say I have actually seen the other report, but I don't believe that I have, any authority to send that out. So. There you go.
So, as soon as it comes to me, it will go to all of you guys. It'll happen that day. But I'm just waiting on them to send it to me. I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that that's happening, so you can be braced for that, I guess. Starshot, were you saying something?
I just said thank you.
Okay. All right, so that's really all there is to do with that right now. So let's go to Joe's motions about regional rep recall. I think there's been some big emails about this. There's been arguments made in a variety of places and to a variety of things and in a variety of ways. But I think the simplest way to dispose of this is just to go to Joe's motions. And we just vote to replace, and then we don't have to necessarily argue about whether or not they should be replaced or can be replaced or when they get seated or whatever. Am I jumping ahead too far? Does someone have a concern with that? Is there a concern with that, or is there something somebody has to say about this?
I'm fine with that. We can then discuss it.
I will say that Meredith didn't necessarily want to do this, but she just sent me a message saying that she would resign if necessary. So
it went to all of us.
She hasn't.
Yes, she's rather resign than be removed. And I, as far as I'm concerned, we don't need to remove her. She was removed by the convention. The only reason I have this motion here is because the people handling the process at our convention or following our convention didn't do what the bylaws said. If they would just do that, then we don't need any motions.
I found Richard Brown's arguments to be worth considering. I mean, it sounds, we may have passed a bylaw, but it sounds to me from what he said in the email he just sent us, that what we passed was in violation of the national rules.
That's not true. That's not true. And Richard Brown making side comments in the middle of our meeting is completely inappropriate.
He didn't make a side comment. He sent email to the exec com who's going to be considering the proposal. That's not.
Yes, in the middle of the meeting. I haven't even read his message yet. How can I respond to it?
I don't think Richard is actually part of this meeting. Oh, yeah, he is. He is. Okay.
Where is he?
I don't think he came in. I have a great big email from him.
I see him waving.
I see him here.
Oh, is he in there somewhere?
Rebecca and Richard Stafford.
Okay. I have a great big email from him here.
We all got it.
Yeah. Oh, we all okay. Okay, well, that makes sense then that I have it along with everybody else. Um, I don't. I'm at a loss as to where to go from here.
Well, the simplest thing would be for if apparently Meredith is willing to resign. If she would resign, we can simply appoint the people who were elected at the convention to the positions and be done with it.
Well,
I want to know why we think
resign.
I want to know why we think that's so important. Personally, yes, we put something in the bylaws and we're trying to combine to be consistent with our bylaws. But in terms of how the reps interact with national, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to be replacing people who are then, when there's still stuff going on at national that's been continuing past the point where we're doing the replacements. That's what I find persuasive about Richard's position. And I think Mimi brought it up too. People who are our reps are part of committees and other things at national, and we suddenly yank them out and stick new people in. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think, therefore, I would be inclined to say that I think the bylaw we passed was wrong. I don't know whether we have to repeal it or we could just say it's null and void because it conflicts with national bylaws or what. But I would rather keep it so that the terms expire as the national bylaws say they should. My 2 cents.
Okay, Joe, is this your hand up?
All of these arguments about why it would be better to do it the other way are perfectly good arguments. However, they are for an argument, they are for a decision that was already made 20 years ago when our bylaws were amended by our delegates to say explicitly that those elected as representatives shall replace previous representatives and take office as soon as consistent with these other documents, one of which everybody's concerned, everybody who's discussed this, no matter what their opinion is about what would be a better way, admits we are allowed to change our delegates, our representatives at any time. We can also do it by this recall process. Every state, every region is allowed to change at any time, despite the fact that this might cause some disruption for committees. There is no prohibition in the national bylaws that says that against changing our representative at any time. There's no inconsistency there. And the other thing it has to be consistent with is a regional agreement. We do not have any regional agreement that says anything about this. So if there's no document that prohibits it, and our bylaws say it happens as soon as possible, then it has to happen immediately. That's what that means. That's why it was put in there. It was put in there because there was a fight about this 20 years ago. And rather than keep fighting about it, the delegates made a choice. You may think it was a poor choice. Fine. Move to amend our bylaws at the next convention. But right now, and for the last 20 years, that's what our bylaws have said. And it has never been challenged as inconsistent with the national bylaws. At the time that was adopted, it was not challenged on that basis. It has not been challenged since.
Okay, so again, I'm hazy procedurally on where we go from here. What are we doing then here in this section of the agenda?
Do we have a motion on the floor?
There's a motion on the floor.
So we'll go to Joe's motions here. Joe moves to recall our current LNC representative and LNC alternate. We'll just click through these. Is that what I'm hearing, Joe?
Well, I would like to give Meredith a chance. It's kind of impolite to recall her if she is willing to resign and simply explain to whoever asks she's not the rep anymore, because that's what our bylaws say. And I'm only made this motion as a backup because people are not following the bylaws. So
okay.
Can we give her 30 seconds to resign?
I'm not sure that she's here, but Mimi's got her hand
she's
up.
She's on text.
Is she on text? Let me know. Mimi, you have your hand up.
She's in the signal group. I just want to remind everybody this takes a 2/3, which is 10 votes. I just want to remind people of that.
What, to recall?
Yeah, well, no, to remove her. Any removal takes 2/3, which is 10 votes. I'm just reminding people. And it's 10 votes even though we have a vacancy, because it's 10 votes of eligible members of the. It was just a point of information, actually.
Okay.
And she is not on the meeting. She is in Signal, but I don't know if that really counts.
Yeah,
I meant on the Signal.
She tuned into the meeting for a minute, but she had to go, I guess.
I have a question.
Sure, Wes.
So if our bylaws state that she was replaced in February, and no one has from the national has complained about that, then why wasn't she just replaced in February? Why do we even have to go through all of this?
Because our officers failed to report this act to the National Party.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, that's true. Fundamentally, I looked at it and decided that we'll just have them take their seat at the end of the national committee with all the rest of them. But if that's incorrect, then I guess that's incorrect. Though clearly there's room to read it both ways. So do we vote? Do I just need to say it? Where how do we resolve?
I don't think we should have to vote to recall someone. I think you should just send a letter to national saying, per our bylaws, our representatives have changed.
All right, that's fair.
I agree. That would solve the problem.
That would certainly make it simplest. All right, I will chat with Meredith. I'll talk to her about that, and I'll send the letters. And
Meredith says she does not want to resign. So you have to do that. We have to do it one way or the other.
Wait, she does not want to resign?
Nope.
No.
It says, no, I don't believe my term ends until national convention. I intend to finish my term unless it's literally impossible.
Oh, right. Well, okay then.
I believe that means that we have to go to a vote that has to be 2/3.
No, the chair just volunteers to correct the problem without us taking a vote.
Well, am I going to get myself into like a weird national judicial committee problem here?
Richard is nodding.
Lauren, it seems to me that if this has not been a problem for the last 20 years, you should be in the clear.
All right, that's fair. All right, I'll have a conversation with Meredith, and we'll get that worked out.
What does that mean?
Well, I guess what it comes to is, well, okay, well, let's talk about that. What does that mean? So if I go and talk to Meredith and I say, okay, Meredith, the bylaws say the XYZ, Meredith clearly is prepared to come back and say that is not what the bylaws say. That's not consistent with national. Richard Brown made a whole great big thing here. Joe has a whole great big thing here. These two things are counterpoints to each other. There are clearly two different, pretty substantial arguments to make either direction. So if I just say, okay, I'm sending a letter to national declaring who our representatives are, am I about to kick off like some crazy National Judicial Committee appeal hornet's nest 6 weeks before the national convention? Like the national convention is like happening tomorrow.
It should have happened in February. This is just trying to clean up something that was a mistake.
Why is it so important, Joe?
Because I've been saying this since February and nobody has been listening. So don't give me that it's too late. We voted to have Mimi. I voted at the convention to have Mimi as our representative with the understanding that she was going to replace Meredith. My vote has been thwarted by this failure to act.
It also applies to the alternate, correct?
Correct.
Right. We're just replacing the current. Yeah.
Okay.
And so the idea here is that I just send a letter to national and we just say, here's what our representation is. We changed our representation. Here's our representation now.
Yeah.
My observation is that in actuality, Meredith and Mimi have been working together very effectively as a team and deciding who is appropriate to vote when and why. Um, I just don't see a need to wander into the quagmire this close to the convention when we have something that's working. I know Joe is upset that he thinks his vote was ignored, but in terms of anything that's actually happened, has it mattered? I don't think so. So if it hasn't mattered, why are we messing with it?
We're not messing with it. We're fixing it back to the way it was supposed to be. We're correcting an error that was made at the convention or immediately after the convention.
It is the bylaws. You can't say that it's just, oh, well, it is the bylaws.
And Richard Brown's
Yeah.
argument that, well, the National is controlling unless we say something explicitly. We did say it explicitly. It's in our bylaws. Furthermore, the document, the message that that Adrian sent in 2024 prior to the 2024 National Convention, saying who our representatives were, included a copy of our bylaws, which has this provision. We've already notified National that this is our policy. And nobody is saying we can't change our representatives. Our bylaws say that the person who's elected replaces the previous representative. It doesn't say anything about is elected for the following term. It's very clear. It says replaces the previous person. So since National allows any state, any state or region that has a representative slot to replace their representative at any time, our policy, which by the way was not the policy that I argued for 20 years ago, but was decided by our delegates, that policy controls.
Lauren, would you like a vote of the execom?
Let's do this. Let's do this in the nature of a straw poll because I'm curious to see where people's heads are at on this. So, Rebecca, if you would please call us off, and then I think that the vote here is yes, replace our representatives, or no, leave it as it is till convention. Does everybody understand what I'm saying there?
No.
So
because there's a question of whether they're already seated automatically, as Joe seems to be saying.
Right. Well, and this is not. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this in the nature of like a binding vote or a motion or anything like that. I'm polling the room.
When you say whether we should replace our representatives, I don't think that's the right question. The question is who should be our representative now, because our convention had a vote.
Okay.
If we decide in any way, any kind of poll, to leave Meredith as our representative, we are in violation of the bylaws unless we vote specifically. Okay, Mimi could resign.
Okay.
From her current position as the representative, and then we could appoint Meredith to be the one.
And I'm not asking for like a binding vote on this. I just want to see where people's heads are at right now. This is a straw poll because I've heard a couple of different opinions here, and I'm just curious what the vibe is here on the committee for this. So, Brandon, you have your hand up.
So my 2 cents before I got to get off is we voted for Mimi, so might as well get it fixed. That's my 2 cents. Have a good night, y'all.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's going on a little bit longer than I anticipated, so I got stuff I gotta do. So I apologize.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Brandon. That being so, Rebecca, would you please just roll call us real quick? I'm curious to see where people's heads are at. When your name is called, just say Meredith or Mimi, so that and then I just want a sense of who people think the rep needs to be right now, going forward. That's not binding. That's not a vote that we're taking that's going to do anything. That's solely for my information, so that I can take that forward with myself. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand what I'm asking for here?
Yeah. So we're deciding which one yes.
Right. I'm just testing.
I
I just
would
want to
put it
see.
as who is our representative.
I
but you
want to
can
see the
put it as
preference.
who-
Okay, okay, that's fair. In your view, who is our representative right now? Is it Meredith or is it Mimi? Rebecca, would you please call us off?
Okay, Pat.
Oh, the pressure, but I'm going to say Mimi.
Okay, Rebecca, I will say Mimi, just because if you look at the chat, my opinion is that, at least my memory is that they're usually seated at the end of the state convention. But I haven't been to a state convention for a very long time. But anyway,
Okay. All right. Thank
at
you.
least before, okay, whatever. Anyways, Mike. Mike, are you still here?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Mimi.
Okay.
I didn't hear my name called.
Joe.
Mimi.
Okay, Francisco.
Yeah, Mimi.
June.
I don't really care. I think they're working fine together the way things are. Why mess with it?
Okay, Mark.
Mimi.
Wesley.
Mimi.
Mimi.
Pass.
Dave.
Mimi.
Richard.
Mimi.
Paul.
I think I'll pass.
Okay.
All right. That's fair.
Do you want to go back to the Lord? You didn't vote.
No,
And
it's
do you
fine.
want-
I've been keeping some hashes here on a piece of scratch paper, so it's fine. I got it. All right. All right. So it's clear that that's where the preference lies. So I will carry that forward. I will get this changed by this week. So
Thank you.
Dave.
Quick motion to thank Meredith for her service.
Fair. There's a series of seconds, but I think Mark was first, as always. So we have a motion and a second to offer Meredith a vote of thanks for her service. Objection to that. In fact, let's roll call that, just so that everyone can voice their support. Rebecca, if you would, please. Rebecca.
Wait a second. Okay. Pat.
Yes.
Me, Rebecca. You know what? I'll vote no.
You
And Mike.
Yes.
Just to be contrary. All right.
Well, I have my reasons for voting
Okay.
no.
Fair enough.
So I'm just
Carry
going to
on.
leave
Carry
it.
on.
Joe.
Okay.
Voting no. Well, I'll abstain then.
Okay. Francisco.
Yes.
June.
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Wesley.
Yes.
Mimi.
Absolutely, yes. Especially with all of her health problems that are going on. So God bless her.
Dave.
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
And Paul.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes 10 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstain.
All right. Okay. So I think that disposes of this regional rep section of the agenda, which probably also disposes of the LNC regional representation declaration section, which was very complicated and was related to all of that other stuff. But clearly there's bylaws language for all of this. So let's skip ahead
Yes,
to...
I actually am rescinding that for right now, although I don't think that you're right about that whole thing, but I don't want to make any motion about that.
Fair. All right.
So I think there is one thing that you might want to do a vote or a straw poll or something on under the membership statistics as they are stand now, which will apply for the upcoming interconvention period. We are entitled to one representative based on our membership count, so we do not have to join as a region with anybody else. However, it is possible and has happened that we join with other states to form a region, even if we would have been eligible by ourselves. Do we, as the executive committee, have any input on the question of how we should handle the upcoming period? Or do we?
Wait, Joe.
Yes.
Joe, I got
Not
one more thing. I never asked Lauren for his vote on thanking Meredith.
Oh, I
Okay,
apologize.
go ahead.
Yes, I would like to thank Meredith for her service.
Okay.
And we're all volunteers and we deserve thanks for our service.
So, well, I have argued. Have argued against the necessity of a regional agreement if we are not, in fact, a multi-state region. I agree with Mimi that we have to say something to the National Secretary about our representation. Or at least, actually, I wouldn't even go that far. We don't have to say anything, but I think we do collectively have to make a decision before the second to last day of the convention, whatever it is, of whether we want to join with any other states.
I think that Joe raises a good point here. I think that I think that it may not necessarily be something that we choose. There's a great big crazy super region, whatever it is, and there's a bunch of regionalist states. Um, this is a convention where it feels like anything could happen. And so I think it feels like there's a non-zero chance that at some point someone's going to come to me or one of us on the executive committee and say, "Hey, can we just join you guys and be part of your region?" And if that happens, we should probably have at least thought about it before like the moment arrives. Mimi, you have your hand up.
Yeah, so I would say that what I would like to do personally is just simply say that we are a region unto ourselves. I don't want to necessarily join with another region or a super region, but that would be up to, I believe this committee, but maybe not. You know, Joe might have a point that it's not this committee that decides that. Maybe we do have to go to a regional caucus. We've never done that before. But I think that we should just notify the Secretary of National that we are, intending to be a region.
Well, I would phrase it as we intend to be represented on our own. But either way, the important point is that we are not joining with any other states.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm saying, yeah.
Right. So can we see if there's a consent? Because at some point somebody's going to have to send a message, right? It's probably going to be either the chair or the secretary, and I would hate to leave them hanging as to decide when, Hawaii comes along and says, "Oh, we want to be a part of your region," whether it's okay to say yes or or if they have to say no. So I'm perfectly comfortable saying no, we don't want to do that. So that's fine with me. Do we want to somehow codify that?
Well, let me do it this way. Is there anybody here who would be open to having some other state try and append themselves to us for any reason?
Well, Lauren, having attended most national conventions since '75, I believe there have been some negotiations of the LP with neighboring states.
You're correct. And in fact, Mimi sent all the previous regional agreements that she found, and looking back through those, like there was a time that California was in a region with Arkansas.
Yeah, we were in a region with like enough 30% of the members. So and we
Right.
got one of the three representatives. And there was
Right.
one time when we were in a region that had like 21%, and we formed more than half of that. Okay. So it was the other people who were essentially getting a representative by joining with us and using our extra percentage, right?
All right.
Okay.
So,
And then there
so
were a couple of times when we joined with some other states and they didn't get any representation at all. They just wanted to be part of a region or something.
So I guess the question that I have then is who has a really strong opinion on that sort of horse trading happening at the national convention? If somebody approaches us, if Arkansas comes back again and says, "Dude, our region is lame. We want to go back to the good old days. We want to be with California." Is that something that we should entertain? Or is there any appetite for that on this committee? If you're into that sort of thing, say so.
Well, and what about the delegates? Do they get to decide?
Well, I mean, there would be a whole big wrangle, I'm sure, at convention. But that I think that wrangle is easier to direct if if this committee has, sort of a general opinion. So is there anybody who'd be open to that?
I
I'm
think it
not.
would be an unnecessary complication. It doesn't buy us anything,
That's
and it
fair.
just makes things more complicated.
Okay. I think that's fair. All right. So it sounds like there's not a lot of appetite for that, which is fine. So that if in case I get asked about it, I can say, sorry, buddy, there's no appetite for that in California.
Pardon me, Lauren. My
Yes.
feed got interrupted and computer crashed, and I had to boot in. I missed what you were asking. If there was appetite
Oh,
for
there is a non-zero chance that there will be somebody who comes to us at national, some state delegate of some sort, state delegation, and tries to form a region with California, offers to join California as a region. And my question to the committee was, does anyone have an appetite for that? And it sounds like the answer is no.
I think it would totally depend on what their reasoning was.
Sure, there's a lot of moving parts to that, but it sounds
Yeah.
like that broadly this committee is reluctant to consider such a thing. So whatever the pitch is, it would have to be pretty good. So that's fine. All right. So that being so, let's move forward and let's have Dave talk about his member mailing project proposal.
Okay.
Yes. Dave.
So, the idea for this was several months ago. The idea was, as I was thinking about my own tax situation, when you hit a magic number, you have to take money out of your IRA. And so disposable income is on your mind. You can alleviate the tax burden a bit by giving money away to charities. LPCA is not a charity, but people are in the mode of giving money away at some point. So the idea was a targeted email to wealthier people who could be current lifetime lapsed people or even registered libertarians that don't really even know much about us. The letter would come from our esteemed leader explaining how the party has evolved in the past and that we can always use more dollars to support a variety of good causes. And you could list some of those, including some of the candidates that are running. So that was the idea. The other observation is, according to L2, older people do look at physical mail. So this would be a physical mailer, which we have not done in quite some time. From my perspective, it might be a good thing to test that. I think National has been testing it, and I've tried 3 times to find out, is it working or not? I think in the membership meeting, somebody said that Michael Cloud, who was one of the expert national people, was volunteering maybe even to help us with some of those efforts. So this is an experiment, much like the other things that we've been trying to do to get more political activity with a focus on wealthier donors that may be willing to help the party now. The mechanics of it would be a list pull, which I'm in the midst of. Given the cost, and Mimi and Lauren were both going to come up with cost figures. When Mimi and I talked, it looked like we could do 250 or 500, the cost per piece, all in from a mailing house that would print the envelope, the letter in color, and it would go out the door with a first class postage stamp so that we know about undeliverables, which is a good thing that you don't get with the bulk mailing. The cost for that would be relatively modest, including the first class stamp. It was on the order of $1.21 if 500 went out, up to $1.34 per piece. Mimi has reported that traditionally those kind of physical outreach, and I think Mark would probably echo this, they typically do pay for themselves. So the expectation is that we would have net income flow from this effort, but we will see because it's an experiment.
Yeah,
Are we in
just some
discussion?
background. Yeah, some background with Michael Cloud. Every fundraising letter he did when I was LPC chair brought in more money than the expense. Now, some of them were pretty marginal return, but they still returned positive. So, but again, that was 25 years ago. So,
Right.
All right, can I
Well, in theory, the
chime
people
in?
we'll be sending this mail to were around 25 years ago. So maybe they will remember that. Pat,
good
yes.
All
point.
right, thank you. People don't give money unless they have a relationship, and it sounds like David's like starting from scratch, people we have no relationships with. So perhaps we do like start with 3 mailers, like a drip mail campaign, postal mail campaign. Dave, is that something that you would be interested in?
Well, the current and lapsed people on the list and the lifetime people on the list all would
Now,
know
when you say
about it.
list, what do you mean? L20, L2?
No, current membership list.
Neon?
The idea would be that they need to have current postal addresses,
All right.
right?
So these
So
are people we have a relationship with.
we don't run into the email problem, and those people do know about us.
All right,
There are
good.
also people who are wealthy, registered libertarians who fit a bunch of other criteria, like they tend to vote, they tend to donate to political causes. I started looking at some of the attitudinal information. If they're with us on a lot of the issues, they may be happy just to get, for once in their long lifetime, a piece of recent mail from the chair saying, "We still love you."
Good, thank you.
Alrighty. So I don't know that there's a motion for this. I think there's budget and money and committees and whatnot. It's all dedicated to this.
Yeah,
This is just a function of alerting everybody to the fact that this is happening. Yes.
right, right.
Okay.
And Lauren crafted a letter, which was really nice. So, um,
I hope so.
we'll see if it works.
We'll see if it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll help us correct some addresses if we get stuff returned.
Right.
That'll be a good thing to see.
At this point, I might be out of order, but I thought we were going to talk about all the old junk that's in Neon. People haven't, we have physical addresses and no email address for people back to 2014. Do we have a plan to clean that up?
Yeah, I have I haven't worked on it yet, Pat, but you were exchanging email with me today that wasn't really correct. The unsubscribed list comes back from the email outreach things, and we could take that list and then go through and delete the emails for those people, and that would correct the problem. My understanding of how Neon works is if you give it a list of 9,000 or 10,000, which is what has been in that master LP list, it already knows which ones failed. So there's no email going out to the ones that had already failed. Ditto
But
for the unsubscribes. So if you unsubscribe to that list along the way, it's not going to send you an email, even if you have a valid email.
But when you send an email in the LPC master, there's about 1,500 people who don't have an email address in the email field, but it's still sending something, so it comes in the error field. And we really would love to clean that up.
Yeah,
How
I
can it
agree.
send to somebody that has nothing in the email field?
That's exactly it. I mean, MailChimp cleans it up. If there's a duplicate or no email, it doesn't send it to you. But Neon, it'll show you every time 1,508 email failures because there's no email address in the email field. And it took me a long time to figure that out.
I don't think it's trying to send any email. It just cuts that off because there's a column in what I put together of numbers that we gave it as opposed to the numbers that were delivered. And it chops out of that the unsubscribes, the errors, and the bad emails that it knows from previous attempts. So I really don't think there's a problem there. We should go back and clean it up. If we ever do a new list pull that happens to include people that have been historically on the list where it bounced, then we may need the cleanup effort. But from a practical matter, I don't I think it's moot, and the concern isn't a huge one going ahead, except that, yeah, we've got a lot of deadwood in the database, and obviously we need to clean up dirty data.
Well, we don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it, I
No,
should say.
I think I know exactly how to do it, so I don't think there's a problem.
Well, who will do it?
I can pull the
I
list.
don't think it's something that this committee can do. I think that's
But who
something
can do? Neon
well,
is a mystery. Nobody here except
My-
Mimi has the
my-
faintest idea how it works.
well, it sounds like Dave
Well,
is
that's
getting ready to
not
do it.
true at all because there are people here who know how Neon work.
Yeah. My
Can you-
recommendation would be, I was going to mention this before, but if we could actually do list suppression on the move over, if we go to Nation Builder, that would be one way to correct the problems.
Well, the problem is that when you delete data, it's gone for good. So no one wants to delete data because you can't make up the mistake. So Wes, what did you mean?
I'm just talking about deleting the emails that are bad for people.
Well, I'm
The
talking about deleting bad records.
addresses may be okay, the phone numbers may be okay.
Not
But
if they're gone. It's 2014. They're gone. Wes,
it's,
what did you mean?
Well, but if they're gone, right? I mean, I don't. But
And they're still
I'm,
there.
I'm hazy on what
It's
we
dead
can do
data.
about that here tonight.
I'm talking about emails, Pat. That's
No, the whole database. You're only as strong as your database. So Wes, what did you mean? And I'm very interested.
What did I mean?
Yeah.
By saying that
Okay.
there are people on this committee who know how to work with Neon?
And
Yeah.
That's plain English, Pat. There are people on this committee who know how to work in Neon.
Okay, so
what
why is
part
there
of
so much?
English do you not understand?
What kind of bad data is? How do you clean the bad data, Wes? That's what I want to know.
Well, as somebody who's updated probably 500 to 600 email addresses and phone numbers and physical addresses, you get on there and you talk to the people and encourage them to renew their membership, and you get updated information and you put it in the database.
All right, so but then there's people who we haven't responded to.
I understand. I understand.
My hand is up.
But yeah, Mimi's hand is up. But we're wandering out into the weeds. But Mimi, your hand is up.
My hand is up because we are wandering into the weeds. This has nothing to do with this committee's
Yeah, there's
situation.
there's nothing this committee can do to resolve this concern.
Well, how do I do this?
Correct. My
Point me in the right
hand
direction.
is up to say, no, my hand is up to say we need orders of the day.
Right.
And we need to go on to what's going next because that is a website IT committee thing.
Right.
All right, well, I wanted to hear Wes's answer.
So I think that needs to happen over email too. I don't know that.
All right, I will send Wes an email.
We are at 2.5 hours. So
there's nothing on the agenda for us to decide here, right?
Right. There's nothing here to decide.
He was just giving us a report.
Yeah.
It was supposed to take 10 minutes.
Right. Okay. So let's move ahead here real quick. LPCA Convention 2027. We received a bid. I don't know if there's anything to talk about. I don't know if there's any action to take. Just wanted to mention we received a bid. It was attached to emails that you guys got. You can take a look at that. Hopefully we will get more bids and we will have a convention committee will begin to coalesce before the end of the year. Mimi,
Is there a practical deadline for us to respond to this bid?
That's a good question. Mimi, you have your hand up.
Yeah, there is actually. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily what we should do. I know that we need to figure this out and people will, hotels will run out of space because, I only was able to get 2 weekends at that particular hotel. The way that it all happened is that was a hotel we were going to do in 2023. We did not. They reached out to me. So I would, I'm just saying we need to figure this out, and I need to let them know if we want to do it. And by the way, I do not want to be the convention committee chair. I don't want to do anything. I think it's a good proposal, and nobody else got a proposal. And at the last extra meeting, I thought that we had kind of said we needed to do the thing, so that's why I did it. So I'm not asking for a vote, but I'm asking for some kind of something for me to go back to the DoubleTree and say, we might still possibly want to do this for them to keep holding that date or not. That's all. We don't have
didn't
to
like the $15,000 requirement. Is there a negotiation that we could do with them?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always done that. But yeah,
Well, then, yeah,
we
I'll call you
could.
tomorrow. I
That
think
is
we should try to negotiate it down.
okay. I'm just saying that I'm just saying that I don't want to do the thing. It's just that happens. So that's all.
If
Yeah.
if we want to have a choice, do we have to do something to more actively solicit bids? Do we say something like,
Correct.
we are going to make this decision at the such and such meeting, and anybody who wants to make an offer has to get it to us by then? You know, the May meeting or May 31st or whatever, something. Otherwise, we're just going to have this thing hanging out there and it's going to go stale and we won't have any choice. Or we'll have to scramble for something at the last minute. For example, do we have any idea whether Barbara is interested in making a bid for
Santanella? I do not
yeah.
know. But Dave has his hand up, and then June.
Yeah, this is just a question for Mimi, and it's related, but I think it could be quick. Was there a convention report that kind of laid out learnings and stuff like that? I know there's the convention minutes.
I thought that I gave out a convention report. I'm not sure. I will double check. I do not believe there was a convention report for 2025 that I've ever seen. I know we've had convention reports previous to that, but I will double check. I thought that I gave the final numbers on that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I just looked for email and I couldn't find anything. I was just interested in, what the final numbers were, because anybody who might sign up to be the convention chair could probably benefit from the previous learnings.
I can say that we would have possibly broken even if it weren't for the incredible amount of money that it cost for JJ. Because the site was really, really expensive. But yeah, I'll make sure that gets out.
Okay, thanks.
All right, June, you have your hand up.
Yeah. I think we should just thank the DoubleTree for their submitting it and tell them we haven't formed the convention committee yet, and we will keep them in mind.
That sounds like a dismissal. That
Why
sounds
does
like
it sound like a dismissal?
Why is it a
We
dismissal? I
haven't
mean, we're
formed the
just not
committee
ready to
yet.
make the decision yet.
Agreed.
It's over a year away.
If we're not ready to make the decision yet, then we don't need to tell anybody anything, do we?
Well, you got to make the decision pretty quick because time sneaks up on you.
I'll be polite to get back to them.
I'm not saying we shouldn't get back to them, but to say, "Oh, thanks for your idea, but we'll keep you in mind," doesn't sound serious.
Do I understand correctly that nobody's in charge of it would be this year's convention, right? No, next year's
It'll
convention?
be next year sometime.
Nobody is in charge, which is really, really scary.
That's where we're at.
Well, what do we need to do?
Well, why don't we appoint this
Why
convention
would there
committee?
be somebody in charge if we don't have a place to have it? I'm very
You've got
confused
the horse
by
and the
that
cart mixed
statement.
up there, Mimi.
I think broadly speaking, the pattern has been that some people go out and find bids for a convention venue with the general understanding that whoever it is that gets the winning bid is going to become the convention committee chair because they're the one who have done the legwork with the venue already.
Well,
I mean, at a minimum, you need the convention chair to be close to the convention, and we just don't know that yet.
Right.
We can't sleep on it.
I gave you guys a proposal. I said very clearly, I do not want to be the convention committee chair.
I don't blame you. It's a horrible job.
I gave you guys something that happened. So I think we have nothing to say except for possibly that I can get back to the DoubleTree and say, we haven't made a decision yet. If we can possibly keep this open, that would be great, or not. That's all.
That sounds
That
better
sounds like
than
inaction. Mimi, I will email you tomorrow.
Okay.
But I know you've done a lot of work and it's very thankless, and I really fear stepping into it.
That's fair. Is there any further action item we need to deal with regarding this
Make a
at
note.
this time?
Call me today.
Okay. All right, then let's talk about endorsement of initiative. Joe has 5 different initiatives here. So these are
So,
the bill numbers: 1993, 1995, 2001,
yeah, well, they're
2017.
not really bills because these are all initiatives. They're not bills. They are
Excuse me. Yes,
just
initiatives.
numbers that the Secretary of State assigns to the things as they come in. And I don't know why there are two different kinds of numbers. There's these like 4-digit numbers, and then there's these 25 dash things numbers.
Wouldn't be a bureaucracy without two completely
I don't know. One
incompatible
probably
file
has to do.
systems.
I don't know
Yeah.
what they have to do. But anyway, the website lists both numbers, and they're all different for each one. And there are quite a few things. None of these are ones that are definitely on. There are 3 that are definitely on the ballot because they were put on by the legislature, and none of those are in here. We might want to take positions on those too. I did not try to analyze every one of them. I just went through them and looked at ones that I considered kind of obvious. And these are all ones that could appear on the November ballot, but won't necessarily because they might not get enough signatures. They're none of them are ones that have been ruled off the ballot yet, but none of them are assured yet.
Do we want to entertain motions to deal with these, or do we want to wait and see
That's
if
what
they
I'm
show up on the
proposing
ballot?
is that we take a position on. We don't have to do it tonight. I just think it would. They are for the November ballot at the earliest, so we don't have to do it tonight. Um, and it would be great if somebody could go through and analyze some of the others because some of them sure sound like they have libertarian positions. I just didn't go through them enough to figure it out. Like the billionaire tax, I think is pretty. Everybody knows what that is, right? And it is in the news, so I think that one it might be useful to have a position earlier.
We took one.
Like hell no.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
like that.
all 5 of these bullets that Joe has here all seem pretty straightforward. I don't know that any of us are going to disagree. Uh, the do we want to go ahead and
I'd be happy to have just a vote on just these 5.
on these 5?
Or
Okay.
if people think that's too much, then at least do the billionaire tax.
All right. So the fundamental motion that I'm hearing you make, Joe, is to go ahead and approve your 5 suggestions here for these
Right,
potential ballot measures.
To oppose 3 of them and support 2
And
of them.
support 2 of them. Yeah. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Mark is in there with a second. All right. So is there we passed a resolution against the billionaire tax at convention? Yeah, that may be true.
If we did that, then we don't actually have to do this here, I guess.
Well, I mean, we're in the middle of the motion. It'll just
all right, it's fine. It's fine.
Be.
It doesn't happen if 2 different committees both endorse it. That's
sure.
Positive.
So is there any objection then to accepting Joe's 5 recommendations here regarding these 5 measures?
What are the recommendations, Joe? Can you post a list in the chat?
It was
in the agenda.
It was included in the agenda. He's opposing a measure that is an extension of the high income tax. He's opposing a measure that offers loans to UC staff, undoubtedly at sweetheart rates. He's opposing a measure that is the billionaire tax, and supporting auditing and capping new taxes and supporting prohibiting new personal property and retroactive taxes. All of those seem like pretty straightforward positions that are not. Yeah, none of that feels especially controversial. Joe is not trying to sneak anything by.
No, I would rather have more, but I didn't do more because I didn't have time to go through and analyze it.
Yeah. So we have a motion on the floor to approve Joe's recommendations. That's been seconded. Is there objection to that at this time? Okay. Then we'll go ahead and take those as official positions. And that's something that can go out in newsletters and stuff.
Yeah,
we can talk about that. Absolutely.
And the descriptions are all on the Secretary of State's website. I think I included that in my original message about them.
All right. So that brings us to new business and action items. Is there anything else that we need to try and take up in something resembling a new business section of this meeting?
I don't know that it needs to be discussed here. It could be an item for the next meeting, but given the way this meeting has dragged on, I think we need to start sticking to our time estimates and having a timekeeper and having people move if they want more time, because things are getting out of hand.
I'll second that.
All right. I think it's a fair point. All right. I'll add that to my action items, establishing time rules and a timer. I think that's a great idea.
I second the motion to
I
adjourn.
move to adjourn.
Oh, we
I
moved to
second
adjourn.
that.
All right. Mimi
On the
has,
time
Mimi has
thing-
moved to end our 3-hour tour,
On
and
the,
Wesley has seconded that.
on the time thing, it recently came to my attention. There is a way in Zoom. I don't know how to do it, but there's a way to put a timer up on the screen, apparently.
Oh,
Anybody familiar with that?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Okay.
All right. Any objection to
I move
adjourning?
to adjourn.
All right. We're out. We are adjourned at 9:12.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you all very much
Thank you.
for your attention and your endurance.
Thank
Good
you
evening,
all.
all.
Good night.
Take care. All.